was my impression of it. I didn't actually play, and the people I played were, watched, were all like on like their first half dozen or so loops. So the strategies being, done were presumably not optimal, and I never saw someone kill the first boss.
Hello, everyone. Good.
I saw them fight
afternoon.
a few times and lose.
Welcome to more D&D. We're gonna get started soonish. I think one of our players is a little late, so you might have to deal with listening to my friends and I chat
They
for a few
admittedly
minutes.
kind of play a trick on you with the first boss, because the basic class that you have unlocked is the warrior, and you would be like, oh, I just stack defense and I take no damage, because every point of defense is a point of damage taken off of them. And then you fight the Lich, and he says, surprise, I do magic damage. Goes through your armor. And then you have a bad time. That, and then the Lich also kind of requires you to have like 5 or 6 Oblivion cards. Doesn't require you, but unless you're like got a really OP build going on, you kind of need them because he spawns a bunch of towers that amp his damage.
What game is this?
We were discussing Loop Hero.
Never heard of it.
It's brand new, that's why.
How does it compare to Genshin Impact?
A lot less waifus.
Well, never mind that.
But it's not made by China.
2 people max.
So you got pixel graphics and looping. I will say the art on the Steam page looks kind of grody, but like when you see it in motion, it actually looks pretty decent.
I'm glad they have an option for it. The thing I dislike most is like it has different font styles, and the default one is this very grody pixelated font, and it just hurts my eyes.
It's fair.
Like I'm okay with your game being in pixels, but I need to read the words.
A valid complaint.
So who wants to bet how late night's gonna be?
Half an hour is the over-under.
I'm under half an hour. Outside, I guess 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's usually like 15 minutes, I would say.
I will take, well, if she oversleeps, it's like 20, 25 minutes. But she's out doing something. I'm going to take the over on 15 minutes.
I'll take the under. Under or including.
What is the forfeit then? What are we betting now that we've... Inspiration? I think we still all have it.
Unless we don't. Do we not?
I think we all started with it and no one used it.
I'm pretty sure we all started with it and nobody used it.
You got at level 1, you got to save your inspiration for that inevitable, like, suddenly you're just dying moment.
Unfortunately, the way you die is someone just hits you.
Yes.
I mean, you got hurt. I mean, I lost over half my hit points. I have much better defenses than you, and I still lost over half my HP in a single. Like after, like the first hit is free, and after that, everyone else, every other hit is a potential death.
Goblin about sniped me in the face and ended me.
Yep,
it's okay.
This is what happens when I roll for stats.
Raven, you were learning the perils of being a melee class.
Remind me, was it you guys couldn't see other people's health? Is that what was the problem?
We couldn't see. It was names, right?
You can't see names?
Yeah,
we also can't see health, but that's not like required.
Did that fix it? They changed the way it works.
I still don't see each other's names.
Can you see Oblitus's name?
No.
I can, but
How about now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I have to do then. Okay.
But you have to do it to each token, and then you have to like...
Right, and then I gotta save him. Which I can do while I'm waiting on Nightglow.
So, George, who are your side D&D games? Or are they your main D&D game?
I mean, we're about finished with that campaign, so this is definitely the main D&D game. But you know, it goes back and forth depending on like this. Obviously, was not the D&D game that was main before last week because we weren't playing. But I love each of my D&D games equally. You can't make me say otherwise.
So that's your Curse of Strahd game that's ending?
Yeah, it's near wrapping up. We're headed to the castle presently to either kill Strahd, get Strahd to somehow go away, or die trying. So I give it 2 to 3 weeks absolute maximum, possibly less than 1.
Just drop wolves on his head.
At the end of last campaign, I put on a necklace inhabiting the progenitor of the vampires in order to become a vampire so that we could figure out what vampires are weak to. So we spent about an hour stabbing me, burning me, throwing me in lakes, things like that. It was good.
So are you going to replace Strahd when he's gone?
That's not the plan, but we'll see how it goes.
That wasn't the plan till now.
And what has Scooter been up to besides fixing our token?
Just recovering from COVID.
It's a rough life.
Are you
Glad you made it.
recovered?
For the most part, I have a horrible cough, which makes my entire body ache because I've just been coughing straight for like a week and a half.
Seems like DMA isn't the best for that.
It's fine.
Before 1 hour in, Suture's dead.
Yeah.
Well, if you cough up blood, it might be tuberculosis.
And if you
Or as they
cough
used
up
to
a
call it,
lung,
the
you
consumption.
might be dead.
All right. I think you guys should be able to see everybody's names now, and they should all be saved to the character sheets.
Firm.
I see Tarek, Pebble, Elena, Lena, Elena.
Can we get a name on the torch?
No.
Okay, fine.
I feel like that would add clutter.
Yes, it's the torch. I think we.
Did your portrait just zoom in, Jord? I swear it changed. It's changing sizes.
I witnessed this. It just zoomed up. It's back in.
I mean, I can change my portrait too.
Yeah, so I changed the account portrait, to basically be. I always do the character that I'm most recently started, but you can also talk as a lantern. But I just changed to talk as my character, who has the same picture, but it's a different version of the same picture as my account. And so when I switch to that, it zooms in.
Okay. I did
could be
also.
Grease.
That was the
Never
last campaign.
forget.
Never forget indeed. I still need to play a martial character because, like, every time I play a martial character, they end up dead at level 1.
That's just, so, Raven, let this be a lesson to you. Don't be a martial character.
Too late.
He almost learned that lesson last time.
I can most assuredly tell you that I, in fact, would not have learned my lesson and immediately made another melee character.
I honestly, I really wanted to play, like, in a campaign that goes for a while, like a human fighter that, like, has a bunch of different of all the combat choices, plus a couple different feats like mobile and charger and grappler and things like that. So, and just play a melee that has, like, a hell of a lot more options than just swing a sword. But the problem is, like, I feel like as a melee, that's all you do until 5th level because you just don't have other options.
Yeah, and then you just swing again.
Which is, I mean, fine if your goal isn't really the combat or your goal is to learn the game while, being 95% effective because you don't have a lot of choices. But it just feels like when I don't have spells that I have no real choices as far as, like, doing interesting stuff, which is unfortunate.
I think there's a lot of new martial classes that are that fix that, like the Rune Knight and the Echo Knight and some of the monk classes and things like that. That they have a lot more options than just swinging a sword. But I agree.
But they're still not spellcasters.
They're still not spellcasters. That is true.
Actually, the most fun I've had playing a melee quote-unquote character was when I played Stead, that druid that I took the mobile feat on, and then I did like giant elk charge into step away, and like it had the like this little combo shit I had going on because the elk had extra damage on a charge, and then I had the charger feat and the mobile feat to like just be able to walk away from things.
So your favorite martial was a spellcaster, you're saying?
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
And then you like not even kind of like the Blade Wizard that Jimmy played. You know, it's like that guy could melee. Maybe his damage per round was a little less than Miser's character at when Miser was like action searching, but like overall, Jimmy's character had a lot more options, more defense, more mobility, and none of the weaknesses. So it's like you know, oh, I have +5 to all my saving throws, and I have 26 armor class. It's like can't do that as a martial.
I actually do really want to play a martial class, though. I feel like there's things that I haven't done with martial classes because I always play casters. But anytime I play them, and we always are starting at level 1, and then I get it killed, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's not to be.
I mean, there is a martial that keeps up with that, and that's your paladins.
Yeah.
Especially your warlock paladins.
Well, see, the problem with being a
paladins aren't really paladins.
See, the thing is, a warlock paladin, his job is to stand next to the casters to increase their saving throws and then cast Eldritch Blast. He's not actually like a martial character. He's literally an aura bot.
It depends on how much warlock versus paladin you are. Like if you're paladin 6, warlock 1, you're 90% paladin except you attack with charisma and you have +5 all saves.
Right, but it is wrong to attack with charisma in melee. You should just be casting Eldritch Blast because
if you're warlock 1, you don't get whatchamacallits.
Invocation.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the invocation feat.
That's true, but you also the multi-attack on Eldritch Blast is determined by your character level rather than your warlock level. So when you hit 11, like you very well could be better.
But that's about when you get improved Divine Smite as paladin, right? You get that at paladin 11. So like sure, at level 11.
But if you went into warlock far enough to get the evocation that gives you charisma to Eldritch Blast damage, like you should never do anything else.
You still can't smite though on Eldritch Blasts.
Yeah, so, but have you guys seen the Hexblade Eldritch Smite with Thirsting Blade?
Yeah, like that's what you basically.
That's insane.
You attack with your charisma. If you crit, you smite. You smite. You warlock smite. Because you can do both of those smites. And then, like, you just stack everything else on and you hit for, 500 damage.
But more
you burn
importantly,
every spell slot in the process, but you do 500 damage.
Yeah, well, because you can Eldritch Smite, and Eldritch Smite, if you land the attack, you knock the target prone, and then you can Thirsting Blade for a multi-attack.
But for that, you need... Isn't Thirsting Blade, like, level 14 evocation or something?
No, I think they both require, like, level 5.
Oh, Thirsting Blade only level 5 evocation? I must be thinking... Oh, no, I'm thinking Blood Drinker? I think the plus Ka to damage one.
So Jimmy, I lose on the over.
It was really close.
Yeah, that's a close one.
Hi, Nate. They weren't betting on how long it would be.
No, we were betting on whether your pizza had pineapples on it.
Hell yeah, it has pineapples.
Honestly, Hawaiian pizza has grown on me recently. I used to not like it.
I don't like ham and pineapple. I do like bacon and pineapple, which sounds weird to say, but that's how it is.
That is weird. You gotta get all three.
Yeah, all three is my preferred.
I do pepperonis and mushrooms.
Pepperoni, mushroom, and pineapple. That's interesting.
I'm not sure about mushroom and pineapple. That seems weird. I haven't tried it.
That seems very mushy to me, honestly.
No, I mean, at least on the pizza I had today, it was like, well, not raw pineapples. I mean, not raw mushrooms, but it wasn't like overcooked. So it had a really nice just difference in texture. Also, I just love the flavor of mushrooms.
I mean, I do like mushrooms in general. So, Knight, what have you been up to for the past couple weeks?
Just the one, right?
Playing alts on WoW.
Oof.
It's nice to have a hobby. Got to level up all the allied races, I guess.
Okay.
Have you people that are not WoW players heard the Chinese WoW controversy shenanigans that happened this last week?
Hell yeah.
I have not heard
Oh,
anything.
good.
It is juicy as fuck, not gonna lie.
All right, hit me.
Okay, so Castle Nathria, because of the last two bosses, but most of the second and last boss, it was relatively hard, right? Like it was a hard raid on the order of Killjaden from Tomb of Sargeras. So the Alliance Hall of Fame was really not filling. It had been a while since Horde closed, and Alliance just was not full. And since they took out Titan Forging, a lot of guilds hit kind of like a power maximum where they weren't actually getting any stronger week to week. And apparently some group in China took advantage of the fact that there were a bunch of spots still open and nobody was getting them to basically RMT pilot like 15 guilds through to Hall of Fame Alliance.
God damn, that's a lot.
And they apparently logged all of those to the same like Warcraft logs account, like where they had
Brilliant.
one
Smart.
guy who had 15 raids on 300 different characters all in one place, all doing the same things, and they apparently had like, I don't know, some like double digit number of Sire Denathrius kills on one day. It was, anyway, they got caught because it was like so obvious that they had to have been trying to get caught. I don't know. But apparently this is an issue because it fucks with the Hall of Fame, but Blizzard really can't do anything about it directly because NetEase does the publishing for WoW in China, so it's on them to do anything about it. What NetEase decided to do about this was they called up like the actual account owners of the people that they suspected might have RMT'd got piloted for this and asked them what the mechanics were, how they handled certain mechanics. Like I literally called them just to ask, pop quiz, what's the mechanics on Mythic Stone Legion generals? And that is how they determined who it is that they should ban, which is a really fucked up way to do it, but okay.
There's the Warcraft logs links in Discord.
Anyway, so Blizzard left the Hall of Fame open a couple days longer than they normally do when it fills, but really hasn't said that they're gonna reopen it or anything like that. So it's almost certainly not going to be reopened, and they're just gonna let it ride. But apparently, many guilds were banned, and the last 20 odd spots in the Alliance Hall of Fame just kind of evaporated.
I love how reading about it on Reddit, people are like, good, it's finally time for Alliance Hall of Fame to close so we can get our Cross Realm.
Straight up, though, like,
Like,
Cross Realm
wow.
was waiting. Cross Realm was waiting on it, and guilds just were not getting kills because they were not getting stronger. And those fights are mechanically, like, the second one shouldn't be difficult, but it's a buggy fucking mess. So, anyway, it was pretty juicy.
Sounds like quite the cluster.
Yes, indeed.
I
love
see
the
a camera. I'll be
Warcraft
right back.
I love the Warcraft log week, February 15th.
I really love the idea though of just like depending on your answer of a boss's mechanics, just gets you fucking banned.
Gets your guild banned too.
And we were joking about it because like if you quizzed some of our raiders, we'd have no fucking clue.
Yeah, depending on what questions they asked, it'd be like, fuck, I don't know.
I mean, it's like true though, because like depending on your role in a boss fight, you can fucking just zone out, and then to be like, "Yo, what's this healer specific mechanic?" And you're like, "I don't know, dog. I
Yeah.
swing an axe at the boss. What do you want?"
There's been a lot of speculation about like what questions could you ask that you'd like not get false negatives or positives, and the only thing I can think is like ask how they dealt with certain mechanics that everybody has to deal with, rather than like the name or what they do or anything like that. Because you can always, like, a raider can always tell you what about XYZ, but like the specifics of why or how the spell works or its name or something, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, my
between,
answer is
like, the
I
different
melee.
variances-
I hit boss. Boss hit me, I die.
My raid leader tells me to go here and then to go here, and that's what I do.
Me beat boss till boss beat me, or I beat boss.
I hear the bing bongs, and then I know I need to do the thing.
I press buttons harder when I hear the bell ring, and that means I swing fast.
My big wigs goes weep, and that tells me I need to move.
Rating in 2020, folks.
Green circle's good, red circle's bad.
Except when the red circles are good.
That's a problem.
Anyway, should we get started?
Should we?
Is everyone here? I know some people are like getting up and moving around.
I had to get
Like
out the
they're eating
Wi-Fi
pizza.
password.
I'm done with my pizza.
All right. With that, who wants to give a recap of last session? It's been 2 weeks.
Did we skip a week? I didn't.
We
just
did skip a week because
I
I was
did, he was-
dying last
he
week.
was-
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot that you were dying, Suture. My
Yes.
condolences.
Still am, but not nearly as much.
All right. So from what I remember from last week, Oblitus arrived to town late, yelled at the guards. Then we took a mission to find some ore for some dwarves, and they decided to overpay us for it and pay us for an extra member who I'm going to claim got eaten by a bear if they ask. And then we fought some goblins. We won. We hijacked a goblin wagon and made friends with some polar bears. And now we have the Polar Bear Express headed back to town with the ore in tow.
Love that you explicitly.
There's also a blizzard at some point in there, but I mean, nothing important happened there.
There's also a Tavern Brawl.
There was a,
That's
it was a
true.
big
There
brawl.
was a tavern brawl. Oblitus, if you don't have inspiration, you can have it. Thanks for giving the recap.
I already had it.
I
I've
figured.
double inspiration.
You do not have double inspiration. You get one inspiration.
We should be able to stack these up. That way, maybe I'd finally use them when I had like 5.
Tournament is a currency, like 5 for +1 to an ability score. Let's go.
Well, so much for
Suddenly the
inspiration
DM
ever
stops
getting
giving out
used.
inspiration.
Then we never get inspiration ever again.
I'll let you get to 4. I keep track of it. Just let you get to 4 and then never give it out again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so everybody, you guys were looting the goblins. You are feeding the polar bears. You've got the iron in the wagon. What do you guys want to do?
Anybody know the way back?
I thought we had already left and we're on the way back to the town. I'm pretty sure I
Good,
made,
but do you know the way back?
I made a survival check for it, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I didn't.
There's no
Yeah, I think you
survival
did.
check.
I see.
All right. Then I guess before we're at, well, once we depart in a direction that we assume is the way, how do we want to handle the bears in the wagon when we get there?
I mean,
I don't know.
Is there like a, having been there before, is there like a stables or bears?
Probably not for bears. I'm going to assume the average human town does not appreciate these fine bears within their confines.
Well, yeah, in most places, if you have polar bears, it's a problem. Up here, maybe not, though.
There's also the fact that, like, you know, while we're getting along fine, I wave a goblin arm around, that I can't necessarily promise that they won't, you know, think that a small child is a goblin.
I mean, we can get
I
like,
thought the plan was that we're gonna just slaughter them when we get there. I mean,
Well,
that's
that's
always an option.
harsh.
Well, I mean, like, sure, you know, I'm not opposed to humanely killing the polar bears after they fulfill their purpose, but, you know, we probably need to contact like a tanner or a butcher to, I mean, a polar bear probably weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 or 800 or how much does a polar bear weigh, Suitor?
That is a
North
great
of
question. I think
north of
it's
1,000, I think.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is we're probably gonna need some help. So
it's a lot of good meat. I mean, basically, the town's living off fish nowadays. They'll pay good money for meat.
and furs are always useful for making warm clothing. So perhaps when we get there, one of you can go contact the dwarf, and one of you can go, or some of you can go find a tanner or butcher, and hopefully they have helpers and they can come and kill the polar bears and take their fur meat for profit. But the problem, of course, is that if we don't get there before nightfall, so we should depart. These ones are probably a little underfed, so they probably weigh more like the 800, 850 range, probably. We'll assume. Plus the weight of like goblins, which weigh 40 pounds. Maybe they're up to 900 again because they're full of goblins.
Yeah, we've been stuffing them.
There'll be
Right.
900 by the time we get there.
So anyway, yeah, we're gonna leave to town. I guess I am leading the goblins. I don't know if maybe someone else should lead the way since I'm busy wrangling the goblins, so I can't necessarily promise accurate guidance.
Yeah, I know which way we came. We just backtrack. Follow our tracks. Except the ones that got snowed over.
We came from like the east though. We need to go south.
Yeah, we did some kind of triangle type thing, I think.
Oh, well then I
'Cause
can
we went to where
account
we
for
thought
that.
it would be, and then the goblins ran off to the west, and we followed the goblins.
How high are Brinshadar's walls? Can we like see them from here?
If it was a clear day, you'd be able to. But it's usually pretty windy when you're out and about, especially with not a whole lot of large mountains or anything to like kind of shield you from the wind. So no, you cannot. But you're about, I think it's like what, 5 miles out, maybe 6.
And what time of day is it? Obviously it's dark, but what time of day? Like how long till the gates close?
If you had to guess, it'd probably be you probably have like 4 or 5 hours.
We'll
Alright,
just
so
have to
that-
make a
that-
mile an hour.
So
So
we
yeah,
could definitely do with our polar bears.
right. All right. So who wants to guide the like? I'm handling the polar bears. Who wants to be lookout and who wants to lead us to town?
I know exactly where town is. I never get lost.
I am not filled with confidence, but he volunteered.
All right, let's see that survival check.
Never
Not bad.
lost.
Not bad, not bad. And then Oblitus, can I get an animal handling check, please?
Yes, of course. I am praying to Shar for guidance, as I always do when dealing with
And you
her
have
children.
advantage because you've been feeding them their captors for a while.
Fantastic. I push the button. We'll see if it ever shows up.
Yeah, roll 20 was being slow for me earlier as well.
So that
Yeah,
looks like a
not bad.
solid.
Not bad. So you guys are just steadily making your way. It's a lot easier now that you've got polar bears in a wagon. And if if people get cold, you guys can kind of rotate in and out as to who's in the wagon. You can't fit a whole lot of people because you got a bunch of iron in there. But it goes pretty well without a hitch. Takes you guys about 3 hours or so. You guys make it to Brinshadar. As you guys see the gates coming up, or not the gates coming up, but the you see the town in the distance, and you pull up to the city, and a guard comes out. Whoa there!
We're gonna park the polar bears like not in front of the gate, like probably off to the side, and like maybe like 20, 30 meters away. So like we're not like blocking the way with polar bears because that seems unsafe.
It's gonna have to be a lot more than 20 or 30 meters. You can't bring those here.
But
There are
isn't
no
it called?
stables.
Not for polar bears. We have stables for dogs.
Those would be kennels, wouldn't they?
He
Have you
makes a
seen
good
the dogs
point.
around here?
Look,
No, I thought you guys all ate them for food.
We don't eat our. What brings you to Brinshadar?
what? We
we
just
were on
left
a-
like 10 minutes ago.
I mean, it was like a day ago.
10 hours ago.
I mean, obviously we've changed the guard since then.
Well, don't
Did
you have
you
like
leave this-
paperwork?
Did you leave this morning?
Yeah.
Let me get it here. He goes back into the office and comes out with a bunch of papers. What's the name?
Oblitus, no last name.
Oblitus. Agrock?
Rock Munchkin.
All right. Oh, okay. It's this group. Yeah, I assume this is Alina and Tarek as well.
That's
That's correct.
All right. Do I need to go over the tithing rules again?
Sure.
What is it again?
That's confidential, my friend.
Oh. All right.
And who decides that?
The town speaker, of course.
Does the town speaker have a name?
Duvessa Shane. Everybody knows that. She's
Oh, I don't. Duvessa Shane.
well, she's the head of the council of speakers. She's like the head honcho of like all of 10 towns.
Look, we're new here, okay?
Hey,
Got
so
to be some-
Right.
out the bear. Mind if we park it like that ways a little bit?
Like that way's like out of sight that ways.
I mean, out of sight's pretty far.
those polar bears get loose, and I've got other people coming into Brinshadar, and they eat those people, that's on my head.
All right, look, my good buddy here, Oblitus, he will take care of the polar bears. If they eat him, then we've got a problem on our hands.
I'm very tough to chew.
But I think we're gonna go find someone that can turn these polar bears into good steaks.
Good luck with that. Nobody's touching those creatures.
Well, what are you not sick of eating fish? You want knucklehead trout again tonight?
Those creatures are blessed by Oriel.
Oh shit!
How do you know that?
They're big. They're mighty. They live in the snow. They're blessed by Oriel.
I mean, aren't all polar bears mighty and living in the snow?
And all polar bears are creatures of Oriel.
I see. Is that why you all eat fish around here? Is because you're too scared to kill anything else?
Yeah, I mean, we literally sacrifice people so that we don't piss her off. Why would we sacrifice her own creations?
So they're saying we shouldn't kill the polar bears.
Wait a minute. Now, if I were big mighty and I lived in the snow, would I be a creature of Oriel?
Perhaps.
And then you wouldn't sacrifice me.
I like where this is going.
Perhaps. I don't make those decisions.
Go live in the snow and you won't sacrifice me. I've got it.
I mean, yeah, because they only sacrifice people who live in the town.
True.
The dwarf's got a point.
Wait, then if we take the polar bears inside, they'll no longer be big, mighty, and living in the snow. They'll be big, mighty, and living in Brinshadar, and then
It's not about where you live. It's about who created you.
Yeah.
Were you created by Oriel?
Let's say I was.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe these polar bears were created by Oriel either.
Yeah, they were probably created by Shar from his point of view.
True, but also probably created by Mama and Papa polar bear.
Well, we're all entitled to our own wrong opinions.
In any case, we got a whole lot of iron, and we want to get it to the people who rightfully own it. And unfortunately, it's in this wagon with the polar bears, so they need to stay here for a little bit.
Well, I mean, we can take the wagon off the polar bears. It'll kind of suck to drag it, but we can drag it by hand.
And if they won't kill the polar bears, then what do we do?
Oh,
I can just let the polar bears go here, and then,
Yeah.
then
Well,
it's
then
the
they
guard's
kill
problem.
people.
But
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
that's the guard's problem, not ours.
maybe we
He
don't let
already-
them go like right here. Maybe
mean-
like a mile out.
I mean, they're Oriel's creatures, not Shar, so I'm pretty much out.
All right, well, let's unload the iron here then, because if we want to release them somewhere, at least then the iron won't be attached to the cart that the polar bears are on. We don't really want to release the polar bears right here.
No, we don't want to release the
don't?
polar bears with the iron, because then we'll release the iron.
Exactly. So you take the iron off the cart, we drive the cart out somewhere that isn't here.
No, we just
release
separate the
polar
cart from the polar bear.
Yeah, we could just leave the cart here and take the polar bears away.
bears. How do you get the fucking polar bears away?
I wave a goblin arm.
Run!
What, you're gonna run out in front of it in the snow and try to outrun the polar bears with a goblin arm?
I mean, I just put the arm down and they eat it.
What, like you're gonna lay out a trail away from the city of goblin arms?
Sure.
Well, you start on that.
Well, I mean, I was just going to carry one. I mean, they're heavy.
Don't see how that could end poorly.
Oh, so we're friends. I Like-
really think that you feel like you're more friends than they feel like you're friends.
when I say we're friends, I like pat them on the head, but I do it like from like 10 meters away. So like I'm making the patting motion, but I'm like nowhere near the polar bear.
Oh, I know. Why don't you like... You got that animal potion, right? Use that.
Sure. I drink a potion of animal friendship.
Okay.
What does that do? I can cast animal friendship now. All right, I cast animal friendship on both the polar bears, I guess, or is it concentrate?
It is not concentration.
All right, then I will cast animal friendship on them until I feel it succeed.
Just cast it 100 times each.
I say, good doggy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll that because literally you guys aren't in combat. You can just continue to do it until you feel like they are friendly towards you.
All right, so I Do they have anything? Can they communicate with me with this spell, or do they just think we're friends?
Nope, they just think you're friends.
Remember, friends, not food. I said that several times. And then
The
I
polar bear just kind of like it tilts its head like that weird like dog curious thing.
then I grab however much goblin meat we have left, and I put it under my arms or whatever, and then I hop on the back of one of the polar bears.
Oh my god.
The polar bear like kind of just grunts a little and.
All right, and then I unhook them from the wagon or whatever, and I try and mush them out into the woods, or the distance, like maybe like a mile away.
Make a animal handling check.
As you do, I will shout at you, "Hey, good luck! Don't get yourself eaten!"
Look at that magnificent
And that's
bastard.
inspiration. That's bardic inspiration.
What's the under over on how many limbs he comes back with?
I mean, does he come back at all?
Well, that would be 0 limbs, I guess.
You know, we should take this opportunity to get the cart inside. Thanks for the sacrifice.
Oblitus, how far are you taking those polar bears away?
Till I think they're far enough away that they won't be in no more than a mile.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you would probably about half a mile out or so. The walls of Brinshadar are pretty small on the horizon, and with all the wind and the snow going on, and then you get to a clearing where you're like, okay, this is probably good.
All right. Once I hop off them, I throw the rest of the goblin meat on them, and I say, if you're hungry, there's fish to the north, and there's some trees to the south. Good luck, polar bears. And then I slowly back away, and if they're not chasing me, I return to Brinshadar.
They will not chase you. They both turn to the goblin arm, thankfully, and you make it to Brinshadar with no problems. As you do so, the rest of the party is still trying to get all of the iron into Brinshadar itself.
Yeah, this cart's real heavy.
Yep.
I mean,
Just gotta put your back into it.
Yeah, well, I pull on this yoke, you pull on that one, and someone push the back. And Alina, get out of the cart. We're trying to move it.
Back. Let's go. Wait, you think grease would help?
No, just make it slippery.
Well, yeah, and under the front of it,
Well, no, because then we would just slippery.
Only not out where you're walking, but under the. Never mind. Push.
Pull.
All right.
are
So
they
you guys-
making any
you
progress?
Get the cart into the city. The guards they close the gate and thanks for dealing with those polar bears.
Yep, I asked them to eat you first if they come back.
He didn't actually do that. He's joking.
Okay. Well, welcome to Brinshadar. You guys know the deal. So
We actually don't. Nobody ever has explained anything.
Well, they just assume we know the deal.
So would you like the tithing again?
Yes, please.
Yes.
He pulls out a piece of paper. Your name will be taken for the tithing. Your age, gender, or social status do not matter. You may come and go from Brinshadar as you wish, but the gates do not open at night. I suppose the tithing will be announced 24 hours in advance. At the time, no one enters or leaves the city until the tithing is completed. You will report to the town center at the time of the tithing. If you choose to not have your name entered into the tithing, you may not enter the city. Do you have any questions?
How frequently is the tithing?
The tithing happens about once a month. There's usually about a 5-way gap just in case, they don't want people to know exactly when it is.
Doesn't that cause a whole lot of stress during that, 10 days where people are like, oh, the tithing's coming?
Well, I mean, it's better than us all dying to Oriel.
Hey,
Is there any
happened to
evidence
the,
to suggest that Oriel, actually cares about you in any way, what shape or form?
Well, I'm still here, aren't I?
mean, that could be evidence that Oral doesn't care about you.
I point at Drek as if he's got a point.
Drek? Who's Drek?
Drac?
Drak. Good
Vowels are hard,
porn
man.
name.
As you guys are like arguing with each other, the guard slowly just kind of like backs away and then scurries back into the guard hut.
Right, well, how do we find those dwarves that wanted this here iron?
I mean, they came to the tavern. They
Want
clearly
to
know.
pull this thing all the way over to that tavern?
Oh no, that
Isn't the
you said
tavern
they
right
were
by
like
the store?
the shield dwarves, right? Is there like
Should we
a
come in the east side, I thought, or the north side?
is there like a shield dwarf stronghold or something here?
If you're asking me, I have no idea.
I haven't seen any other dwarves other than the 3 that tasked us with getting the iron.
Pebble, you've been in Brinshadar for a little while. You would know that there isn't any kind of like shield dwarf settlement inside the city.
Yeah. But this iron's going to that blacksmith anyways, right?
Did they give us a place to deliver it?
They did. It's the Black Iron Blades.
Yeah, you know, that
Do we know where
blacksmith
that
that's
is?
really good. Yeah, I know the way.
Really good.
All right. Just remember, we don't actually deliver it till we get paid.
Well, I mean,
We can do a physical delivery of it. We just, it's freight on board or whatever until they pay us.
Whatever that means.
alright, but while we're there,
That right there is
don't
the
buy
Black
his
Iron
swords, alright?
Blades.
Just in case any of y'all are looking for a sword. Don't do it.
Where is Black Iron Blade located roughly?
Right there.
You're pinging on the GM layer.
Oh shit.
All right, so we just go straight down this main street. Okay.
All the way into the middle of the town.
Alright, here we go. I heave.
I walk in front of the cart, motivating them as if they were polar bears. I say stuff like, "Don't worry, we'll have a nice fish sandwich when we're done here." And I clap my hand.
If you're just gonna watch, could you keep a lookout for a bakery?
Sure.
I'll do that.
I mean,
No, you should push. I did the bear. You guys get the cart.
like the
I mean,
place I
I'm
work at's
pushing,
kind
but
of
I
a
don't think it
bakery.
helps.
We bake things. Sometimes.
Is that arrow to a bakery next to the blacksmith?
No, that arrow is to the Black Iron Blades.
That arrow is comically large.
I have to assume
I
that
did
the
it.
GM layer of this map is just full of huge ass arrows like that.
It is. I did it. So I mean, then you can like put the name over here.
They don't have the name on there. You can't just. It's probably just the number.
It's just a number, yeah.
Is it the building on like the left side of the street or the right? It's kind of pointing to the edge of the street.
This one.
Okay.
But why can't the arrow point at it then?
Yeah, it's a
There
really
is
long
one
arrow to be off by that amount.
It's not even off. Like it's like literally right there.
Maybe
Oh,
we're seeing
dude.
something different.
I mean, I don't know about you. If that house was a button and you clicked where that pointer was, you didn't click the button.
Is that
I
better?
put what we're seeing in Discord.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
better.
much better.
See, like it's pointing. It's got a point at it. Oh my goodness. All right, so you guys are carrying the cart down the or dragging the cart rather down the street. It is pretty hard because this was obviously not a wagon that was meant to be pushed.
Well, it's also being pulled, but
Well, pushed or pulled. But you guys eventually make it there. You guys just going
Was
in,
there a
you knock
bakery on the way?
door. There was not a bakery on the way. You imagine most likely, Pebble would probably know that if you wanted a bakery, you're probably going to have to go to the market and get some from there, but it's probably too late for that.
I mean, to be fair, the market is down here.
Right, but it's too late for the market.
I regret to inform you, Drac, Dribble. There were no bakeries along the road.
all right, first thing in the morning then.
I knock on the door to the smithy, unless it's got like an open air forge or something, in which case I'll just give a holler.
Yeah, it's just an open air forge. So you can holler enough to get the attention of a shield dwarf, a beard that rivals Drock's, black, covered with soot and ash and coal and things like that. And he just looks at, oh yeah, welcome to Black Iron Blades. What do you need?
To be paid.
To be paid.
That is
I
correct.
don't have any dealings with you.
All right, then I guess we'll take this
Armor
iron
man.
back to the inn. All right, see you later.
Oh, iron. I was expecting that shipment, but it never came.
Yeah, because people got killed over this, you know?
We were eaten by goblins and bears.
It was awful.
What? Where's Hruna?
Who?
Well, that's what we said, eaten by goblins and bears.
Okay. Well, yeah, bring the iron in.
Up, payment first.
I've already paid the dwarves.
We haven't been paid. We were told that we were being paid, what was it, 300 gold pieces for delivery of this iron, and no payment, no delivery.
I believe that's right, but we had a deal with the dwarves you hired, you see. Do you know where they are? You could have them come here. They could pay us what they owe us, and then we give you the iron.
I thought you said they were dead.
Some of them are.
That's
Oh,
what
also,
hired us.
just quick question. How much was it you were paying them for this iron?
They have a deal that's outside of payments.
Say what?
They're paid in
forged-
services.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Anyway, it's getting late. If you want this iron today, I suggest you hop to.
They'd be at the inn. I'm sure that's usually where they stay. As nobody gives any recognition. The North Look?
Ah, the one by the north gate?
Yeah.
Anybody
I
wanna
haven't seen
sprint
him
on
there
down?
before. I gotta check in with the boss anyways. All right.
I sit on the wagon.
Thanks, Pebble!
Be right back.
So as Pebble's running down the street, you see the dwarf kind of just turn around and get back to his work. Looks like he's probably crafting a blade of some sort, whether it's a sword or a great sword or a dagger. You're not really sure. And honestly, maybe he's not that sure. Pebble, as you arrive at the North Look, it is basically the same situation it was in yesterday. People are starting to get rowdy as the fishermen have come home and the market is closed. And most people are just kind of hanging out. And as you walk in, Scramsax once again is looking worse for wear, just kind of running all around. Pebble, you're back. Oh, you want to get on stage and play something?
Yeah, I'll keep these fools quiet for a minute. Hey, you seen any dwarves today?
Oh, you mean that rowdy bunch in the corner there?
Ah, yeah, these guys.
And as you look closer into the corner, you see the three dwarves there. Looks like they're just kind of playing and drinking and not really socializing with anybody else, just the three of them.
I'll go up to him and be like, "Hey, we got your iron down at the smithy. Go pay for it."
Wonderful. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and
kind of just hops off the bench and scurries out of the inn.
and I will stay here and perform for the masses.
Everybody else that's still at the Black Iron Blades, you see the dwarf arrive from the distance, and you made it. To be honest, I didn't think you would.
That's nice. Payment, please.
Yeah, we agreed on a gemstone each. Yes.
Well, a gemstone for the 6 of us.
This 1, 2. It looks like there's only 5 total.
Well, there's only 4 here, so you're off
Right.
a little bit to start
I
with.
spoke to the other dwarf.
Right, so you
Yes.
don't pay people just because they're not here, right? Some people
And
got
then you remember our friend from last night, the one that was drunk off his ass.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't come because he's drunk off his ass in the inn again.
Moral support. It's very important.
Make a persuasion check. I believe we agreed to a gemstone for each person who went.
I
All
believe
right,
it was.
so listen here. We had one less person, but that means that each of us had to be even more confident. And you're gonna just so like your original agreement of one gemstone each. That was assuming that we would have 6 people. And if we have one person less, wouldn't it make sense that each person would be compensated a little bit more?
But you remember, I already gave you one gemstone.
So we're in agreement. You
So
should
are you
give us
gonna give
5
us-
now.
Yes. Are we going to each get one more on top of that?
No, you would get 5 total.
So then why does that first one matter?
It was as a security deposit.
That doesn't change what we're talking about in terms of the total payment then.
Yes, but I mean, he obviously didn't go, and we agreed to 1 gemstone per person.
We did the work of 6 men.
Exactly.
I'll allow you to make one more persuasion check.
Can
This
I
time-
try to be like really so I don't know if I got it across well, but Elena is kind of pissed. Can I try to use an intimidation check?
This time I will allow it, but in the future, if you want to intimidate, you actually have to intimidate.
I tried.
Now,
Okay.
listen
She's
here,
not
you
very
know.
intimidating. Okay.
Throw in a threat at the end. Like,
Yeah,
listen here, I'll break your kneecaps.
I think I would need like 4 hours
Holy
of
shit.
planning.
Apparently, he's afraid of women.
Okay. Because it was so speedily done. Okay, but did you find anything of Ubok so we could return it to his family?
Oh yeah, we took something, didn't we?
As a matter of fact, we did. I believe I have it actually.
Feels like it's been weeks since then, though, so I have
Yes,
no
ma'am.
idea what it was.
I pulled out the dwarf hand and forearm from apparently my robes.
What? That's
Look, it's a little morbid, but there wasn't too much left.
just take the gemstones and keep the hand, and she just heads off back to the
Maybe you should have brought the hand out first if you're going to intimidate him.
So you guys have an additional additional gemstones worth 50 gold pieces each.
We're all just taking one, right?
I'm putting one in my inventory anyway.
Is it okay if I just like it's ease of keeping track of the value, just like pop it as GP and call it 50
Yeah,
there? Or...
that's fine. I'm not gonna make you guys
Okay.
try to sell things.
Wait, so is that a yes or a no?
Yes, you can just add 50 gold.
Thank you, sir.
I assume you guys will give me mine at some point. I mean,
Yes.
if you're just gonna keep it, that's
Yeah,
cool
yes,
too.
indeed.
Who's keeping the extra one, I guess?
For Pebble?
Oh, no. Well, what
You
happened to
should
the
have-
original? What happened to the original 50 gold?
Oh, that one. I don't know. Who does have that?
Who wants to keep the guild bank?
You gave it to Drock because he was the only dwarf that she could trust.
All right,
Oh, yeah, I
congratulations,
agree.
Brock, keeper of the party funds.
I'm just throwing it in mine, and if you want something and I have money, then enjoy it. Okay, fine. I guess I should. I will keep it separate. This is how it begins. This is how it begins.
Yep.
So do we want to do anything with the wagon? Does the wagon look like it's worth anything other than like firewood?
It could be. The problem is it's a pretty large wagon, and your typical dogs aren't going to be able to pull that. So you would have to find something much larger, like polar bears, to pull the wagon itself. So probably not. Maybe in the future, but right now you probably couldn't find any good use for it.
So is firewood like scarce in a town like this where there's not a lot of woods around and stuff like that? Like, is it worth chopping it up into little pieces to like burn in the inn or something?
Probably not.
You can just dump it outside tomorrow and then, pick it up when we need it again.
Wait, no, I think I could tinker with this and just, pare it down to size, and we could have, a free cart that we could get some dogs for, and make it a little smaller. You don't need polar bears.
Well, I'm a firm believer in thriftiness, but I don't want to pay any vagrancy laws or whatever they have for the cart. So where are we
Well,
going to put it?
I don't know where things like this would be kept. If you could figure that out, I mean, that's not my forte. I can work on the cart, I suppose, but
Well, drag it back to the inn to start, I guess.
yeah, it's a good plan.
I leave ahead of them to go back to the inn.
He's not going to help us, is he?
I don't think he is.
All right, well, let's push.
I had some perfectly fine polar bears
Hello,
moving
Rexy.
around. You guys didn't want them.
Good evening.
As you guys are heading back to the north look, you guys get this. Once you guys get to about here, you have somebody that shows up. Give me 1 second here. A bundled up figure walks briskly up to you. Excuse me, I heard you just helped the dwarves. Do you mind a moment? She's talking to you, Oblitus, because you are quite farther ahead than the rest of the group as they're back trying to push the wagon.
All right. I look at this person. How tall are they?
Shorter than you. The figure. It sounds like a woman's voice. She's probably about 5'4" or so.
So below the normal height of a human, but not quite dwarf.
I would say just smaller than your average human, but she's probably just short.
What can I do for you, miss?
I was wondering if you'd be able to help me. I'm looking for some spirits, perhaps to Well, you see, I'm a scholar who likes to delve in elementals, and I'm looking for these wee elementals to possibly study where they come from, because I believe they could help us stop this winter.
While she's talking, I want to, listen intently for any sign that she might be, lying to me or misleading me or in some way. I'll make an insight check if you want.
Sure.
In the meantime, while that rolls itself, I will. Well, I suppose I'm willing to take on some paid work.
So she doesn't look intimidating at all. She's not carrying a weapon. She's quite a bit shorter than you. If she had any ill intent, it's probably not here. Yes, well, I could offer you 25 gold, also my lantern, and perhaps the problem is, you see, I don't really get out of the city very often. It's pretty treacherous out there. But I've heard rumors. Have you ever heard of Twinkas?
I'm assuming I've never heard of Twinkas, right?
With your background, no, probably not.
Can't say I have, miss.
We see Twinkas are these very small creatures, but they're very nice, I hear. But they basically, from what I know, are nature itself. And perhaps if I could have a Twinga, I could study it and perhaps end the winter. But you see, the problem is that they're not here in Brinshadar. I'm not sure what town they would be in. I've heard around, but I was wondering, if you do find yourself traveling, maybe if you ran into one, you could capture one and bring it back to me.
That's so. I have a few questions, comments, and concerns. One, are you planning on paying us like in advance, and if we just happen to find one, we're going to capture it? Two, if they're nature itself, why are they in cities? And three, how are we supposed to capture fickle spirit like that?
At this point, the rest of the party would have, aside from Pebble, would have caught up. Well, I can't. I'm not going to pay you in advance, but I can give you this lantern. It is a lantern of tracking elementals, and it could help you locate the Twinkas. And Twinkas, although they wouldn't be inside the city, they would be. Actually, they could be inside the city. They're very curious creatures. They are very elusive. They can make themselves invisible and hide in basically anything: rocks, trees, snow. But they find civilization fascinating. So I've heard that they've taken a liking to some of the cities because they enjoy seeing what people do. I'm talking, they're so fascinated that even eating is incredible to them.
Eating is pretty incredible.
I could give you this lantern. It would help you locate the Twinkas. It glows brightly whenever an elemental is around. And then if you return a Twinga to me, I could give you 25 gold pieces.
But how would I capture a Twinga?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't really have to capture it. You would just have to make it interested enough in you to follow you.
I'm a pretty dull
And keep
boy.
it interested.
I'm sorry?
I said I was a pretty dull boy.
But perhaps, are these your friends? She points at Alina and Drock and Tarek.
Work
Yes!
Both my
acquaintances.
arm.
Well, surely they would find interest in some of you.
Well, it doesn't cost us anything to take the lantern and keep an eye out, I guess. No promises.
So what is it about civilization these things like exactly?
Everything. They're always just, they're very
is it-
curious.
Is it the structure, the technology, the warmth, the
I believe it's everything.
The shit in the streets.
Have you ever seen a child when
Yeah.
they finally discover that they have hands,
no?
and then they pick everything up and they start tasting it and throwing it and punching it and everything? Basically, Twinkas are like small children, except they're made of snow.
Do they melt?
No, I don't. Well, perhaps I don't actually know. I've never seen them. That's why I'd like to study them. to
Follow
see
up
if-
question. How is this going to help end the night?
Well, they would help end the eternal winter because they are winter itself.
So we bring them here and melt them, and then the winter ends.
Or maybe they just turn into summer Twingas. Like I said, they are nature themselves.
Well, like I said, I'm not promising to work very hard on this, but if the lantern glows and we find a Twinga, and we come back to Brinshadar, sure. It's up to you if you want to give your lantern for such faint promises.
We'll find that darned Twinga.
I think I'd rather give the lantern to the dwarf, if that's okay, Mr. Armor.
It's your lantern.
Okay, well, I must be going. It is getting very cold. But thank you.
Hooded lantern. I guess I need to buy oil.
And she scurries off. But Drock, you can add the lantern of tracking. This one is attuned to elementals.
Presumably.
Yeah, she literally told you it was attuned to elementals.
She could be lying. Or
She could be lying.
Burn radius designed to track down a certain type of creature. Once determined, this creature type can't be changed. Just 300 feet. It
Well, you
burns
have to keep the
green.
lantern burning at all times.
I should be able to do that.
Anyway, congratulations on your, quest there, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I just need to rig up a whirligig here and a thingamajig there, and should be able to just, just a small trickle of oil. And if it turns green, then I can turn it on full.
Yep, sure. Better get back to pulling the wagon, though.
Well, we're already here.
No, we weren't quite to the end yet. That was just late intersection. I know all the streets look the same to you, but it's actually the next one up.
Oh, Lord.
Are you guys just heading back to the North Look?
That's where I was headed.
And once you guys get to the North Look, what are you guys planning on doing with the wagon?
Well, I figure we talk to Pebble, and he talks to his boss, and we find a place we can keep this temporarily, and then we find a place where we can keep it more permanently.
So you guys arrive at the inn. Just like I told Pebble, it's pretty much the same. People are rowdy. People are drunk. Scramsax is running like a chicken with his head cut off. Clearly in need of more help than he has. What do you guys want to do?
Hey, Scramsax, got some customers got a question for you.
Can't you answer the questions, Pebble?
I mean, yeah, but you might not like my answers.
Oh, very well. Who has questions?
These idiots over here.
Just what?
Yes. What? You're back. What can I help you with?
I need change for a gold piece so I can pay for my room.
Okay.
All right, I pay him for the room today and tomorrow, which is 2 silver pieces. Is that what it was?
And anything else?
Yeah, we got a big ass cart. Need it to store it here for a while, and then we'd like to know where we would keep something like that longer term in this city, Brinshadar.
A wagon.
For like going across snow. I guess it's more like a sled. I don't know.
How big is this wagon?
Well, I know it's big, but bring it down to size.
I suppose you could keep it back by the barrels behind the inn.
Okay. I mean, I don't really care where it ends up. We just care that you're okay with it.
Yeah, that's.
We can keep
Pebble,
it
are these still your friends?
I mean, they're not my enemies.
All right, yeah, you can just keep it back there. I don't really use it for anything.
Speaking of Pebble, we got money for you. I chuck him a gemstone.
Ah, damn. Why don't you pay me like this, boss?
You just see his eyes light up staring at the gem.
Right, well, I gotta keep this crowd busy. Holler if you need me. I go back to performing with old Bitey.
When he walks away, I follow him. It's like, by the way, do you have an aversion to eating polar bear meat?
Polar bears? Did you find a dead one out there?
We found some live ones.
Oh, you shouldn't kill a polar bear.
I mean, I'm not suggesting you should. I'm just saying that, is it like against the law in Brinshadar or something? Is there a cultural taboo?
Well, you certainly shouldn't kill one.
What if it attacks you? You just let it eat you?
No, you run.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the average polar bear is about 25% faster than a running human.
Well, I didn't say you had to be faster than. I just said you had to be faster than your slowest friend.
What if I'm, by myself, or there's multiple polar bears?
Then you are a fool who deserves to be eaten by a polar bear.
Anyway, the point is, imagine there is a polar bear that's attacking me, and I am clad in armor and strong enough to fight it off. Why shouldn't I defend myself?
Well, you're just gonna piss off the Frostmaiden.
Is there evidence to prove that she gets mad when you fight polar bears?
Buddy, have you looked outside?
So someone started this by fighting a polar bear?
No, it's nighttime in winter, literally 24/7.
Yeah, but like fighting a polar bear didn't cause that, right? And does
I don't know.
Does she put out pamphlets saying "Don't kill the polar bears"?
I mean, I'm just saying, I never killed a polar bear, and I'm still alive.
In a land of eternal winter.
But I'm alive.
I'm just saying, like everyone says Oriole wants human sacrifices. Oriole likes the polar bears, and these things may be true. I'm just curious where this information comes from. I'm doubting its, veracity.
I think it's more of a he said, she said kind of thing. But the speakers and the council of the 10 towns, they get together and they tell us what we should do and what we shouldn't do.
So how did the speakers decide this information then? Because they sound...
Look, buddy, do I look like one of them political guys?
I mean, you run a popular establishment, so imagine you have some political sway.
Nah, they don't care about us.
So
Poor folk.
So you a fine property owner near a prime real estate by the North Gate have no sway whatsoever. So who does have the sway in this town?
Duvessa Shane.
But she's a speaker. Surely she does something for money.
She was elected.
And that
we elect all of our speakers.
So surely the people who voted for her, like, lobbied or something, like everyone just said, "Oh, she's the best looking person. She gets to be in charge."
You don't find them much better than Miss Duvessa Shane.
So how did you know about her before she was speaker? What was she doing?
Everything. She would just help me, and she would help other people. She's just a good person. Wouldn't you want a good person making the decisions for you?
No, good people let other people suffer because they make good decisions without thinking about the consequences.
Well, look, buddy, I'm okay. Look, I mean, my business is not falling apart yet. Thank you, Oriole.
So anyway, you're saying Mr. Shane there is expert on Oriole, unless she gets to make all the decisions on what precautions, and she put out precaution no killing polar bears and sacrifice people once a month.
Yep.
Oh boy, it's worse than I thought. I walk away to go get some food or something.
Drock, I'm not positive about artificers. Do you have like a special skill for that, or is it just like a woodworking tools or something like that to trim the cart?
There is no like special skill for it, but I have tinker's tools, and I'm proficient with a couple other tools that might be not really, but like I'm willing to just like rip pieces off until it looks,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like tinker tools is probably fine. Like you're basically, you've got this big goblin wagon. Are you trying to turn it down into like a dog sled, or are you trying to turn it into like an actual wagon that dogs could pull? What are you looking for?
more like a sled, like I guess more wagony. Something that
there's
could
two things, right? Because
hold
there's
stuff and maybe a person or two, but not like the big, moving thing that we have now.
okay, so you're not looking for like a huge wagon, but you're not looking for like an Iditarod sled either.
Yeah,
He wants a dog cart.
Not personal mobility device, more like small, whatever we want to throw in it, mobility device.
Okay. So how much are you looking to like actually be able to hold with this thing? Like how big of a cart are you looking for?
Like, 3 people with nothing else in it, or some combination of stuff that's equivalent.
Okay, go ahead and make Make like a Tinker's Tools roll.
We have a lot of surplus material since you have
That's
to-
not a great roll.
It is not, but you can keep working on it. I mean, you're basically just like tearing it apart, trying to get everything. I just want to clarify. So you're not looking for something like this, are you? Where like you can
No,
have like
that-
one person and then you can carry some stuff at the front.
That's more or less it, but since we have a bigger thing here, a bigger thing is my goal in the end too. Just
Okay.
to-
You
Okay,
can fit three
I
people on
get
that. You know, one person stands on the back, two people sit in the front like it's a cramped shopping cart.
I was just
so
saying,
I'd let
nothing
you-
like the wagon we have.
Yeah, I'd let you try to get like you can make something that's a little bit bigger than that, and it would probably take to go at a reasonable pace. You would probably need about 4 or 5 sled dogs, probably 5 because you need one to lead point. Otherwise, you could probably make like 2 or 3 smaller ones that would require like 3 sled dogs. They probably wouldn't go, or they wouldn't be able to hold as much, but they'd be able to go a little bit faster. But you'd be able to have a couple of them.
Well, maybe when I'm at a natural stopping point for the night, I will consult the party. See
There you
what
go. Did anybody else have anything you guys were looking to do at the end? Are you just eating and carousing, or what are we looking for?
I will look around while I'm eating for anyone who stands out in a unusual way, but otherwise, because I'm always alert for danger. But otherwise, not doing anything in particular.
I will go over to Drock, and if he's got the lantern working, I'm curious to see if maybe I can find something inside the inn, if he hasn't already checked.
Okay. Drock, are you going to give Tarek the lantern?
Oh yeah, if you want to look around, go for it. I mean, it's already working. I don't need to get it working. I was just thinking, you can always improve a thing.
This is definitely your expertise over mine, so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't walking around just shining a light.
It seems that it came with a little bit of oil in it, but I imagine we're going to need to pick up some more if we want to keep it working.
True. I'll check around in the inn and maybe some nearby areas and just see if we can find anything. I'm curious as to why that lady thought these could change what's going on, but we won't know until we find some.
Yeah, I've never really understood elementals, but I guess if anything might shed some light on what's going on in this part of the world, it's elementals. So I kind of sort of understand the idea. Anyway, think civilization-y thoughts. Have fun.
What
I
about you,
take the
Alina?
lantern and I go inside.
I was thinking about like trying to find more information on the place I wanted to go to with my trip, but since it's late, all I could do is ask around the tavern, but I think I kind of tried doing that the first night. So at most, I'll probably spend some time sitting in the corner of the tavern just listening.
To
See if I
clarify,
pick up any.
the first night you never really went around and talked to people. You more watched and played dragon chess.
I asked what's his name, Pebble's employer.
Yeah, Scramsax. But you got the idea that Scramsax doesn't really know anything except for Brinshadar.
I will. Okay, I'm going to still observe, but if I see anyone who looks like I guess a traveler or someone who might be a bit more informed, then I'll think about approaching them.
Go ahead and make a perception check. Looking around the tavern, everybody kind of looks like they're they're probably from Brinshadar. It's kind of hard to distinguish between whether they're from Brinshadar or they're from somewhere else. The only people that you could tell are like definitely probably not from Brinshadar and have probably seen quite a bit of 10 Towns are the Dwarves. But if you had to guess, the Dwarves are not going to be wanting to talk to you. Every now and then they'll kind of look up at you, but then they'll like quickly avert their eyes if they catch you glancing at them.
Oh, that's awkward.
Since I am observing the crowd, if I notice this behavior, can I make an insight check to see like if they're planning to rob us or something, like to get their gems back or something? Because I feel like they overpaid us, and then them being suspicious like that has made me alert. Can I get an insight check to?
Yeah, sure.
All right, get some insight into this matter.
And before he finds out, they're just literally scared of her.
I push the button, right? Yeah, there it goes.
From a quick glance, they're probably not stupid enough to try to rob you guys. I mean, you guys took down. They're not really sure, but probably a Yeti. So they're a little bit more afraid of you, and especially the way that Alina treated Haruna. Harun has definitely told them the story and probably escalated it a little bit more. But they're kind of more or less peeking to make sure that she's not going to try anything against them.
I will let her know that looks like you scared the dwarves. That's kind of funny.
I guess I can only shrug helplessly. I tried. Just getting our due.
We're still level
Out
1.
with that, there's nothing interesting going on in the main tavern area. I guess I'll go to sleep or get ready to sleep.
Had a hard day pulling a cart part of the way. I get it. Oblitus doesn't want to stay up either, so I'll go to bed early also, or at a reasonable time.
So by the time Alina and Oblitus head to bed, that's about the time that I assume Drock would probably come in from working on the cart. Pebble is still performing on stage, but the crowd is dwindling. Tarek, would you have come in by now, or are you probably still meandering around with the lantern?
I would have come in by now just to see if maybe there was something inside. But after that, once coming inside, I'd be ready to settle in for the night.
So it looks like we just have Drock, Tarek, and Pebble still inside the inn. The crowds have, for the most part, either dispersed, passed out from being too drunk, or are deep in conversation with people. But it looks like it's probably more of just like late night drunken philosophical conversations. And then Scramsax comes up to you, Pebble, and he says, all right, you can stop with that music. I think we're calling it a night.
You know, Scrimsax, you really should start charging people for passing out here. It's like, I mean, it's not exactly like a good room, but it's kind of like they're getting a room.
Huh. That's why I pay you the big bucks, Pebble. You got some ideas under that brain.
Exactly. Like, see that guy just like take his wallet, you know? Whatever. How's he gonna know you took it?
I'm not gonna steal, but I am gonna start charging people. I like it.
All right, that's a good compromise.
Well, anyways, I'm going to bed. Clean up after yourselves and try not to start any fights.
I make no promises.
So, since you're both awake, a question for you.
Yeah?
If I were splitting up that big old cart, because we can't keep it, in big goblin-y shape, would we rather have one relatively big cart for, like storing stuff on, take like 5 dogs, or a couple individual ones that, we could use to get around all personal-like?
I mean, what you gonna do with like 6 carts?
Well, not 6, it'd be more like 3.
Well, what you gonna do with 3 carts?
I don't know, you move around in snow easier than strapping fishnet shenanigans to your feet?
Yeah, but what about everyone else? What's that lantern they've
we
been
can
playing
swap
with all
off.
night? Anyways, it's like they're tossing a lantern in the air.
It attracts elementals.
Didn't
again?
seem to have much luck when I was walking around, though.
Alas.
How much you pay for it? Do you get scammed?
So anyway, we didn't pay anything. In fact, we're being paid if we find an elemental. But anyway, Pebble, you're saying I should make the larger one then?
I don't see what uses they're having a bunch of little wagons.
All right, big one it is. That's for tomorrow, though. I'm going to sleep.
Well, let me take a look at that lantern. It finds what? Why would there be an elemental here? I mean, don't elementals like set fire to things?
Apparently, this one is a snowball.
They're looking for a snowball.
Yeah, a snowball that's very, very curious about people.
Hey, hold tight. I go outside, make a snowball, come back in and throw it at him. Hey, I found your snowball. I was looking for you. Ha! You get it? Because it came flying at you.
I shake my head.
Ah, sorry.
The lantern is supposed to go green whenever one's around.
A snowball's around. I mean, there's a lot of snowballs around.
And it didn't glow green at them.
I guess. Wrong snowball then, huh? Alright, well,
I think these ones float. Your snowball kind of just flew.
you want a
hit me.
floaty snowball.
It had a name. I don't remember what it is. Drock, do you remember what she called it?
I went to sleep.
Oh, he's gone. No.
Alright, well, good luck finding your snowball.
Pebble, for what it's worth, because of your upbringing, you probably would have ran into a Twinga from time to time.
Oh, do they look like snowballs?
You've never actually seen them, because they're not exactly easy to find. But every now and then, when you guys would venture outside of your homes, random snowballs would hit you, or you would see eyes looking at you from inside like a rock or something like that. But they've always been good. They've always been more of just a nuisance, but in a fun way.
Ah. Now based on the description, I feel like I've seen these snowballs you talk about before. The ones that just come flying at you for no good reason. Like, no one threw it. It just hits you. It's like, come on, why'd you do that? They're little assholes, really.
Interesting. The woman who gave us the lantern said something about them being able to change or stop the never-ending nights that are going on. I don't see how a bunch of snowballs are going to do that, but
I
she
don't know.
thought
They've
it
been
would
here
work.
long before it was all nighttime. I mean, the nighttime thing's relatively new.
True, I just don't know how they could change it.
How much you said you didn't pay for the lantern?
No, she gave it to us and said if we find any and bring them to her, she'll give us 25 gold.
I don't think anyone's ever caught one of these things before. But I mean, good luck, I guess. Alright, well, don't go burning the inn down with that. See you in the morning.
Good night. I'll head to my little corner of the tavern and make sure the lantern's completely off.
And you guys all take your time, wake up in the morning. Still dark out. But what do you guys want to do? It is a brand new day.
So, assuming we meet for breakfast, over whatever they serve for breakfast, I will say, should we talk to the speaker?
It is so you guys wake up. However, it seems like Scram Sachs is not a morning person. People are still just like yesterday. The drunk people are still sleeping. The crowds have dispersed a little bit, but Scram Sachs is nowhere to be found.
Luckily, I'm a master of the kitchen, so I go make some more fish sandwiches, so that we have breakfast to discuss over.
I think speaking to the speaker would be a good idea, but could we stop over at the market first? I got a couple things I need to buy.
What do you need to speak to the speaker for?
She sounds like a real idiot.
Well, you probably shouldn't say that to her. That's how you get off on someone's bad side.
A fair criticism.
I mean, isn't it her job to speak to us? It's in the name.
That's a fair point. I mean, but like, what are we speaking to the speaker about? You know, you gotta speak to the speaker about.
Well, there are two reasons. The first and our overt reason for speaking to her it is a her, right?
Well,
Yes.
Of course.
To her would be that we are accomplished adventurers. I do air quotes for accomplished. Now that we've completed a mission, and presumably the speaker either knows or has need of our services. And secondly, I would like to get a read on her because she's implementing some really bizarre and foul practices, even for a human.
I mean, they say like, don't all the towns do it now? It was like a joint decision by the council.
Sure, but she's the one in charge here.
That's
So
like,
it would be nice to know how she feels about the measures that she's implementing and their ineffectiveness and, you know,
yeah, I mean,
seemingly
it's
randomness.
one pours salt out of a couple thousand every month. You know, who cares?
I didn't say I cared. I just said it was ineffective and, you know, unlikely to work.
Yeah, but
Or
it makes the
accomplish anything.
people feel better, right? It's like, let them have
Does-
their occult
does it, though?
rituals. I mean, except for the ones that get thrown out and the ones that know them.
It's the one that got thrown out,
And
you
the
know,
ones
and people
that-
worried about being picked.
Well, you make a good point.
That was my goal. Tarek, how do you feel about the ritual sacrifice of people being ordained by the government?
I don't feel like it's the correct way or even the right way to do this. I don't. It's almost like they're just trying to do it to keep the peace, even though it's probably not doing anything and just wasting lives for no reason.
Right. So I would like to determine, if we can, whether the speaker knows that and is just, you know, sort of bailing water over a sinking ship, or, you know, whether she's doing it malevolently. Is that a word? Anyway, on purpose to be cruel, or is, you know, like an agent of Oriel, or, you know, or is she just incompetent and there's nothing we
Well,
can do about it?
what you gonna do? Go up and ask her, hey, are you an agent of Oriel? Is it
No,
your
no,
fault?
that's why we go there looking for work and seeing what work she has for us first. You know, like I said, it's the goal is to get a read on her.
Oh, that's clever. So you lied to her.
have
I mean,
a-
you only kind of lied to her. It's not even technically a lie.
Right.
Well, thanks to that woman we ran into yesterday, we have, I'd say, an extra reason to go talk to her. One would presume that she'd be interested in knowing about this person's idea for ending this eternal night. If she
You need
was
to be
some
careful with
agent,
that. Because, like, yeah, if you tell an agent about like this person who has an idea that might work, which granted she's really far off, so probably no real danger. But you know, if she is an agent and she does have a good idea, then that's a good way to get that person offed.
true. It would be wise to make sure that we didn't divulge who we got it from.
So what's the plan
No, I
then?
don't think
We
we
go
got the
to the
person's name.
market, pick up your marketing goods. So
Elena, do you have anything you need to accomplish this evening, or any goals you want to suggest for the group?
If we can find a map maker along the way, I would like to get a more comprehensive map of the area, but that's the only thing I still plan on doing.
We can
Sure,
certainly
we
take a
can-
look in the market, and you can ask around to see if there's a local cartographer. I certainly don't know.
But that's about it for me.
All right, so I hand out fish sandwiches, and I guess we're gonna head to the market.
Let's go.
Cool. So you guys finish up your breakfast of fish sandwiches, and you guys head down to the market. The market is, I'll be honest, it's not exactly what you were expecting if you've hailed from other larger cities like Neverwinter, Waterdeep, things like that. It's pretty sad. but you can find most general things that you're looking for. Notably, there isn't any kind of like potion maker or magic item creator, procurer, anything like that. It's more just like you can find a bakery, you can find cold weather supplies, you can find survival gear, mountain climbing stuff, fishing, and that kind of thing.
Great.
So who's looking for what?
I'm looking for lantern oil, some nails, and a bakery.
You
I
can
am
find all of
looking-
that pretty easily. So let's see here. You're looking for oil. How many pints of oil are you looking to get?
How long does this thing run on? Some amount of oil. Let's see here.
It's at 6 hours a pint.
All right, so let's call it like 4 pints, because then we got a full day if we really need to keep it on.
It's a half
Okay,
gallon
that would
of
run
oil.
that'd run you about 4 silver.
Righto. Some nails.
I'm pretty sure those are like really cheap.
You probably buy like a pound or like 100 nails for like a silver.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How many nails are you looking to get?
A pound.
Be another silver.
You should check them for quality. They might have been made by the Black Iron Dwarves or whatever they're called.
I poke at them a bit before I leave. They seem like they stay together.
They're fine. Yeah, I mean, you imagine it can't be that hard to make nails. You don't know how well they're going to hold up, but they should be okay.
Good. And then I'm looking for a bakery that sells small, sweet baked goods, like cupcake or, brioche or that kind of variety thing. Something possibly jelly-filled.
Possibly jelly-filled. You can't find anything that's jelly-filled, but you can find some muffins and some it looks like probably like fruit, like jellies and jams and things like that. Probably pretty hard to get right now. But you can find like some sweeter like glazes, some like sugary bagels and glazed donuts and things like that.
All right, I want a dozen assorted sugary random things. How much does that run me?
2 silver.
Right. I take this back to everybody and go, here, have some of these. They're sweet and delicious. I had one. It was pretty good for, the food we've been having around here. Something other than fist sandwiches. And I'd like you all to know that I'm very sorry about the lion with the goblins and what I told him to say.
Does he seem sincere? I'll make an insight check.
Yes, I both appear sincere and you know it, apparently. But, not to go excusing myself. I just, I came up here looking for a group of people that were the strong adventuring types so we can, do some great things together. And I don't know, for some reason, I just felt like if we talked our way out of the situation, would we really be adventurers at all? But I shouldn't have taken the choice away from y'all. So here, enjoy the sweet things.
Oh, that tastes really good.
So long as you strive to improve in the future, I suppose, I will accept his confectionery bribe.
I thank you. Here, try this one. I had something similar. It was pretty darn good, if I do say so myself.
So how does Oblitus eat with his helmet on?
There's like a part in the front that tilts up a little bit, like it leans forward like a 30-45 degree angle or whatever, so I can like put my hand up under my past my chin and eat that way. And like, so if you crouch down real low or like a dwarf, you could like see the upper, like the bottom of my nose and like the lower part of my face.
You
But like
have
if you're looking
facial
at me
hair.
head on, the part that tilts forward still covers most of my face.
You have facial hair.
I do not have any facial.
Suspect.
Is anybody else looking for something in the market?
Yeah, I would be looking for studded armor, studded leather armor. Very specific thing.
Alright.
You could look around. Everyone tells you your best bet is to try black iron blades.
I
They're the only people that deal with like any kind of armor or blades within the city.
have to make blades, not armor.
Oh yeah, but he does it all. I think I've never tried to buy leather armor before.
I mean, you know what happens? People buy blades from him. I don't really want to be wearing his armor.
I mean,
Well,
he's probably your best bet.
thanks for letting me know.
Well, he looks around for that. I am interested in looking to see if there's anything like unusual. Like you said, there's survival gear. Is there any like particularly neat survival gear that like I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was an option, and now I want to make it avail myself of it. Also, I'm looking for any like metal jewelry or maybe a pair of manacles or something like that.
So as far as survival gear goes, I'm not sure how much oblitus would be familiar. It's mostly there's snowshoes, there's mountaineers packs that have like rope and pittons and things like that to kind of help climb mountains. Crampons exist. I don't know if oblitus would be familiar with those or what those are, but they're basically spikes that go onto your shoes, the heel of your shoe. That you walk a little bit heavier and the spike goes into the ice and it allows you to not slip when you're traversing ice. You just have to be careful that if you use the crampon, that the ice is thick enough to actually take the crampon and it doesn't just crack the whole thing. And then you said you were looking for like manacles or like jewelry of some kind.
Yes. And or
again,
not like sexy manacles for.
There isn't any kind of like jeweler or anything in Brinshadar. And when you ask around for the manacles and things like that, once again they say your best bet's probably to check black iron blades. They only forge in Brinshadar.
How much is a mountaineer's pack? Or because I figure I should probably buy some rope and like some pittons and maybe some crampons. How much does that stuff run?
I think it's actually called a climber's kit. You'd be able to get it for about 5 silver.
I mean, 5 silver. That seems like a good deal.
And that would give you could have like 50 feet of rope. It would have 10 pittons.
Is it hempen rope? I assume.
Yes.
I like how a climber's kit has very rare as its rarity. Why is a climber's kit very rare rarity?
I don't know.
It's up there with the staff of firebolts.
Compared to a Dungeoneer's kit or like Adventurer's pack, less people are specializing in climbing.
Drock and Oblitus, or not Drock, Pebble or Oblitus. Did you want to go talk to Black Iron Blades about studded leather armor and manacles?
Nope.
I don't want anything to do with the Black Iron Blades. I don't trust their work.
Alright, so we done here? We're going to see the speaker?
Did Tarek or Alina have anything in the market?
I wanted to browse for any maps. And specifically ones with like not just the main cities and stuff, but landmarks and like I guess a geographic map.
You ask around, and they direct you to a couple of people that make like art maps and things like that. But it sounds like that's probably not really what you're looking for. Then they let you know that the speaker would give anybody a map if they just asked,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
that would at least have the 10 towns on it.
I will just keep that in mind then, since we're headed there anyways.
Tarek, did you need anything from the market?
No, there's nothing I'm looking for. At least
Cool.
here.
Say, Alina, how many stones was it you were looking for again?
20.
And she's already got 2.
She does.
I've got 2. I have seen a total of 5.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oblitus doesn't get the joke.
It's okay. Once we gather the others, you'll understand.
What is this, Snow Alina and the 20 dwarves?
That would be an interesting sight.
I guess we will find out.
So where is the speaker's house?
That big building right there,
Sweet, right off the mark.
just south of the market.
Can we get a big arrow pointing to it? Nice.
And what was the speaker's name again?
Duvessa Shane.
I
So what do you guys want to do?
Head there. Was Jimmy able to find studded level armor, or did he not?
Nope.
Go?
I didn't bother looking at the. All
right.
So we should come up with a plan. Like, what do we do if she's like, no, I don't need any work done? And then we're like, well, what about the people you sacrifice, huh? You know, that's probably not the best plan.
All right, we were just going to say hi, introduce ourselves, and
Well, then we have
let's-
Alina's plan to get a map to make small talk, I guess.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I go up to the. Is the speaker's house like the entrance guarded or anything?
Nope.
It seems like a big building. How big are we looking? Is it like an
it-
office? Is this a government building or like a personal residence?
It's a government building, but also a personal residence as well. It looks like one of those weird things where like they have the office in the front, but the rest of it's probably a house. Kind of like if you've ever been to like one of those like physical therapy places that are like inside somebody's home.
I'll take your word for it. Do I have to like? Does it look like a place I have to knock, or can I just like open the door?
You can just open the door.
All right. I knock once anyway, and then I open the door after I knock.
Yes. Hello. What can we help you with?
So there's like a guy sitting at a desk, like a secretary or a receptionist, or is it like a dude standing inside, like a guard?
It's like a guy receptionist.
Does he have a desk or something, or is he?
Yes, he has a desk.
I get everyone to come inside so we can shut the door and like kick the snow off our boots or whatever. And then we shut the door. And then I go to him and I say, "Greetings." I wave my
Hello.
hand.
Welcome to the town hall. What can we do for you?
I gesture to the people behind us, are qualified adventuring types, wondering if the town of Brinshadar had any need of our particular type of services.
You got a weird way of saying Brinshadar. What's with like the get up? You can take your helmet off. Maybe I'm just not understanding you properly.
Oh, don't mind him. He's got he doesn't like to show his face to people, you know,
I'm
self-conscious and all.
from not around here, as they
So,
say.
All right, well.
Excuse us, but yeah, we've just gone out on a long trek outside the walls here, and I think we're pretty qualified to solve any problems you got.
Within reason. I qualify his statement.
So you'd be wanting to speak with Miss Shane then?
If she's available, of course. I know she's a busy lady. Lots of towns to run, lotteries
she
to
just
arrange.
runs this one, but yeah, I think she's not busy. Miss Shane, and he just yells, and a medium height human walks out. She's got brown hair down to her shoulders. Yes. Hello. What can I do for you?
First of all, our companion here was told you give maps. We need a map. Well, he needs a map.
Yeah, sure. Are you just looking for a map of Brinshadar?
Do you have a map of the entire Icewind Dale area?
Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but it's got the 10 towns in it. Are you looking to leave Brinshadar?
I am, at least. I'm passing through.
Very well. Yeah, I can do that for you. Mar, do you mind fetching these kind folks a map? And she looks at the guy and yeah, let me get one. And he just kind of scurries off. Was there something else we could do for you?
Yeah, I hear you have like a Yeti problem around town or something? Or do you have problems in general?
Well, I mean, there's always Yeti, but not inside the town. I should hope not.
Would hope not. No, that would be a disaster.
Yeah. But
You almost had a polar bear in town, though.
Well, surely our guards took care of that.
In fact, a couple polar bears came charging at the gates. Actually, Oblitus here, my good friend, he walked the polar bears away, charmed them, kept a disaster from occurring. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'm sure Markham will let me know.
Well, what we're saying is, we're the problem-solving type, you see? You get problems, we solve them.
Okay.
So, we're just asking, you got any problems?
I don't believe so. I usually let the sheriff handle all of that. But he hasn't told me of anything other than, petty criminals here and there. But I mean, I think Brinshadar is fine.
So there's no rampant starvation, no random killing people once a month, none of that going on?
No, I mean, it certainly isn't random. I mean, we sacrificed to Oriel, of course, just like every.
Oh, so it's not random. How do you decide then?
Just
people you don't like?
No, all the names go into the tithing, and one is chosen at random.
But you just said it wasn't random.
Oh, you've been caught in a lie.
Well, I mean, it's not random that we choose a name out of the hat.
But you say you randomly choose a name out of the hat, or is it not random?
I mean, that is very semantics, but I mean, I guess it is random, but we don't just be like, oh, we choose you. It's we pull a name out of a hat.
I mean, even my name trust her. Is she?
I am curious, however. Every time I try and do something that I think would help the town, I get told Oriel wouldn't like that. I'm curious, since you're in charge, how have you determined what Oriel doesn't like? Does and does not like.
Why don't we just step into my office? And she walks into her office and assumes you will follow.
Like, what is this the area we are? Like, are there other people around? Like, she sent the other guy away. Is it not like hyper?
It's not, but it is like you open the door and like it's like a reception area.
All right, I will pray to Shar that I don't get stabbed when I step in the door, and then I will go in.
Looks like Drock's backing out of the room. Alina's still waiting on the map. Is Tarek or Pebble joining Oblitus?
I will join.
I'll join him as well.
Please shut the door. I assume one of you shuts the door.
I let Tarek do it.
I shut the door.
Cool. To be honest with you, your question, we don't know what we're doing. We're just trying to get it to end.
I got that. That's why I was concerned.
I mean, like 40 years ago, this wasn't a thing. When did it's kind of recent, right? Like, what triggered it?
Been almost 2 years. We don't know. Oreo just woke up one day and decided winter.
So
is there any indication that what you're doing helps? Like, 'cause I mean, not to accuse you of just randomly killing people for the placebo effect, although I assume that's what you're doing. But I'm not accusing you of anything. But like, has there been any demonstrable effects from the actions you were taking?
Well, it hasn't gotten worse.
it hasn't
getting
gotten
worse
better
before?
either.
I mean, yes. The cold was taking over, and it hasn't gotten any colder since we started sacrificing. I mean, every town sacrifices something different, but it was decided by the Council of Speakers. I don't make all of the decisions.
But like Brinshadar here, Shandar is the biggest of the towns. No, that's what everyone says.
Well, yes, we are the largest, but we agree equally. I mean, we have a leader of the council, which is me, but it's everybody has their own votes. And
So
we
is
voted
it like-
unanimously to give something to Oreo once a month.
And how'd you settle on people instead of like knucklehead trout or a dog or a polar bear or something?
Well, everybody gives up something different. We sacrifice people, so do some of the larger towns. If the towns don't have enough people to sacrifice, then some of them sacrifice their food, which honestly sometimes is more painful than sacrificing one human. And some sacrifice warmth, which again makes it a little scary for the people that remain.
I just shake my head. I'm like,
You
So-
say that, but what do you think about the families who suddenly lose a mother or father or a brother or sister to a
Or the-
random chance
Or the
that they don't
barkeep.
even know does anything?
The
I would like to
barkeeps who
remind
is a
you-
good bar hand.
I would like to remind you that everybody chooses to live in Brinshadar. They are more than welcome to leave for a smaller town like Duganshole, but they have chosen to live in Brinshadar for the safety.
I'm sure you and I both know that plenty of those people don't necessarily get a choice. If the smaller towns are full, or if they can even survive the trip in this weather, then they don't really have a choice. It's their only help.
I mean, there's plenty of caravans that leave and go to other towns, and some towns have plenty of people or plenty of room for people. They can barely survive without more people, but they choose Brinshadar.
anyway, so what I've gathered is that you have no plan. Your steps probably don't work, and you're okay with that. All right. And you have no work for us? Thank you. I'm done here.
I don't have any work for you here in Brinshadar.
Oh, but you have work for us with the Yetis now, right? Now that we've smoked out here.
All right. Let's not say anything we will regret.
No, but well, there is one thing you could do if you found yourself fit.
I'm listening.
Are you familiar with 10 Towns? Are you familiar with Cara de Naval?
Not even a little bit.
Well, you see so there's 10 towns, yes, and Cara de Naval is one of them. About once every other month, we have a meeting with the Council of Speakers. They change. So the last one happened in Tourmaline. But they rotate between the cities. Cranach Seaver, he is the speaker of Cara de Naval, has been absent for the last meeting, and also hasn't really given us any whereabouts as to what he's doing. So, I mean, if you wanted to do something, you could look into his disappearance.
You don't have any
say
like
he's
mages that can just
ill.
like use a sending spell or a message stone or anything like that?
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's not really a lot of magic going around here. Can you do that?
Not me personally, no. But I mean, it seems like you have thousands of people living in a town. It seems like one of them would be, a magician of some quality.
Well, if you find one, please let me know.
I snap my fingers and snuff a light in the room as I cast Prestidigitation on it. Is that what you're looking for?
Could
I
you get a hold of
light it
Cranach?
back on. I mean, if I knew where he was, and like I could talk to him.
I imagine he's at the care.
The what?
The care.
It's a fancy word for town or castle.
Care de Naval.
By the way, can you put his name in the chat box so I can spell it?
And maybe the name of the city. Alright, so if we see this guy, what message do you want us to deliver to him?
I just want to make sure he's okay.
Out of curiosity, what is his town sacrificing?
Food, I believe.
Interesting.
And where is the
choice.
next meeting supposed to take place?
The next one is actually here in Brinshadar, but that won't be for another month.
So if the meetings take place once a month, did you just get back?
About a week ago, yes.
Wouldn't that make it 3 weeks from now?
About a month.
I guess we're not big on accurate timekeeping, huh?
Now, but you did say about.
Just forget it. I feel like you and I don't see eye to eye.
I'd like to think it's a
'cause he's
cultural
wearing
difference.
A hat or a helmet. It's tough to see eye to eye. It's a joke. Don't worry about it.
You're asking us to do something, and there's time constraints. I just want to be accurate about the time constraints.
Look, Miss Speaker, we appreciate what you do for the town. I mean, the town has people in it that are alive, and you do good things. So we don't understand the reasoning sometimes. And maybe it's not our place to ask.
Well, if you don't understand, you're the one in charge. That's indicative of a problem. I apparently stutter.
I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of problems right now.
We came in and you said you didn't have any.
Are you going to stop Oriel?
Get right on that.
I mean, I'm willing to stop the worship of Oriel by the people of Brinshadar.
And what good would that do us? That would just piss her off even more.
Now, hold up. Are you, worshipping her, or are you just,
We are simply trying to appease her and make it by.
Speaking of which, are there other priests in town? Is there a temple to, Elanther or whatever people worship? Like I said,
there's the House of the Morning Lord.
All right. Anyway, so you want us to go to Care Dinaval and find Cranach here. Will we get paid for this work?
I don't have a whole lot. I suppose I could put in a good word for you with all the other speakers.
Will this be an official good word in a written form that we can present?
Absolutely. If you save one of the speakers, assuming something's wrong with Cranach, all the other speakers would be grateful.
Unless they're the ones trying to off them or something. But all right. Anyway, yeah. All right. We'll maybe we'll look into it.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
I just walk out.
Hey, between you and us, could you just tell us when the next, lottery is?
I'm afraid even I do not know that.
Well, then who decides these things?
We like to keep that confidential.
That's a good choice.
Well, have a good day or night.
Good night. Yeah, I see what you did. You're funny.
Yes.
I take it the secretary has not come back with the map yet.
No, he has. And you have the map, and I will go through the Icewind Dale map and reveal a bunch of stuff for you when I have time.
Fantastic.
When I get a moment, I want to compare the map she has to the map I have.
Same, I suppose.
Wait,
You guys
what's with
just
all
like-
the maps?
I mean, you didn't ask for a map. You had a map all along.
My map is especially poor, so I don't expect it. Like, I just want to, see how bad it is. As we leave, I'm like, anyone want to go visit the temple?
No.
I
What
probably
happened in there that we'd be go visiting a temple? Temple to who?
some guy called the Morningwood.
Oh, the Morning Lord?
Is that what it is?
Yes.
You guys have the
probably.
weirdest names for stuff.
Well, actually, that's a good idea because I mean, he's obviously the god of the morning, and with it being kind of night here, they might have something to say about what we could do productive wise.
Yeah. I'm going to put my holy symbol away, and I'll go with them.
And you guys are heading to the House of the Morning Lord?
Yeah.
There's going to be that right there.
We didn't see that, or at least I didn't. Oh, aha.
Now that arrow points to a house. Quite clearly not a street.
As you guys enter the House of the Morning Lord, you're correct. It looks like a house, but it was converted to a gathering place for the Morning Lord. When you walk in, there's a.
Is this house attached to like the big complex behind it, or is it separate?
It is separate.
Who owns the big house behind them?
You're not sure.
All right, that's plan B after this.
There's an older woman there. She has curly gray hair, but it's pretty short. And she walks in, or you guys walk in, and she says, "Yes, hello, welcome to the House of the Morning Lord. Can I help you?"
I kick Drock subtly to make him talk.
Yes, we're new around here, looking for something we could do to help out the city. And with being new to the area, we kind of noticed you have a bit of a thing going on in the sky. And you being all the Morning Lord folk and whatnot, I figured maybe you had some idea what we could do to help the situation.
I wish I did. I pray to the Morning Lord every morning, every afternoon, and every night. But alas, even I do not know.
So maybe the Morning Lordy people in Waterdeep are some kind of eccentrics or something, but they always liked to do a thing where they got up super early in the morning and made sure that they saw every time the sun rose, witnessed the dawn, all that jazz.
If only.
Yeah. How does it you people do that around here? You just don't?
Well, I wake up every morning as early as I can, and I go to look at the sky, and I pray to the Lord that it will rise, but it never does.
How do you feel about the ritual sacrifice of people to Oriel?
I honestly think it's despicable, but what am I to do?
Perhaps as a religious leader, you should give moral guidance to the leadership of the, town.
Have you ever thought about armed uprising?
Also that.
No.
Yeah,
Do I look like a fighter?
Well, no, but I mean, have you heard the story of Jeanne d'Arc? She was a frail woman leading glorious knights in battle against...
I don't know if you've looked around, but there's no knights here. Just
You don't have any
copper.
acolytes?
I used to, but
Were they all sacrificed first?
no. They've all shunned Aminator and have moved on to Oriel.
So this town is full of cultists. Neat. Not that, Elmonder isn't a cult also. No offense. I say quite offensive.
She just kind of stares at you.
I cough in my helmet.
At this point, you hear a bunch of clanging and it sounds like something crashing from upstairs. And the older woman just kind of looks up and goes, "Damn it, Copper! Keep it down!" I'm sorry. That's Copper.
I'm sure he's a charming young whatever he is.
He's actually the worst, but
You want me to throw him out?
no, he helps with the chores, and I give him room and board.
But not copper.
I'm
Because
sorry.
you don't pay him in copper, though, do you? Because that'd be too funny. Too ironic.
No, I don't pay him anything.
Yeah, like a real cult. Sorry? Did I say something?
At this point, you hear banging coming down the stairs, and you turn around and look, and you see a rock gnome, who he's covered in a bunch of he's got some rags and things like that, but he also is wearing a rather large fuzzy suit and hood that is made of like a brown wool that actually makes him kind of look like a walking teddy bear. I got it clean, mission. What do you want now? And he just kind of looks at you guys and just nods.
I nod back.
Copper, could you start cleaning some of the pews? Thank you. He just kind of scoffs and walks away.
So attendance is down then at the House of the Morning Lord then, since your acolytes have left and
Just us.
And you don't hold like a weekly service or anything like that?
I do.
Does anyone come?
Just us.
That's a real tragedy. Then do you know where the cult of Oriel has their weekly hangouts?
I'm pretty sure it's in the market about once a month.
You are funny.
She's not sure whether to laugh, smile, or cry.
Who owns the big yard behind you?
That's the sheriff's house.
Neat. What's his name?
Markham Southwell.
And how do you get along with Markham?
To be honest, I've never really talked to him. I suppose that's a good thing.
You're a kindly old lady. You never bring him some soup after hard days of enforcing the law or anything like that? And bread? Be like, hey, Markham, I heard you had a hard day sacrificing people up at the marketplace. Here's some bread.
He's never really been a religious person.
And you don't do any proselytizing?
Do I look like a prostitute?
Proselytizing. It's different. Although, ultimately not that different.
Hey, isn't that what you're doing all the time, though?
I don't care if you convert or not.
No, but you're a prostitute. I mean, prostitutes take their clothes off. I've never seen you take anything off.
I'm shy.
Well, is there anything else I can do for you?
Well, I don't know if we mentioned this when we came in, but we are strapping adventuring types, hence the armor. I gesture at my armor. So if you need, any work done, you don't look like you're in a position to pay. But if there's, we're potentially willing to take pro bono work for the exposure or something, just so long as it's not exposure to the cold and soon to be followed with frostbite and death. Although some of that's unavoidable, I suppose.
I mean, if you could stop Oriel, that'd be great.
Sure, we'll get right
We're
on
on it.
If you could stop the sacrifices, that would be great as well, but I don't think that will happen.
Yeah. Currently, the plan to stop the sacrifices would involve killing a bunch of people, and somehow I don't think that would,
Kind of
check the box.
defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
just, we're here to sow the seeds of civil revolution. Spread the word.
Oh, please, no.
Oh, no? You don't want to? I mean, doesn't have to be armed revolution. It can be one of those, like, peaceful revolutions.
Are you new to Icewind Dale, dwarf?
I'm from around here, but not these usual cities. They call them the 10 towns. There's really more than 10 towns around here.
I don't think that's true.
Depends on your definition of town. Certainly, there are more than 10 places of humanoid habitation.
Let's go with that.
Right. Well, I confess I don't have anything else.
What was the sheriff's name again? I asked under care.
It is Markham Southwell.
Honestly,
thank
I
you
just
very
want to
much
keep
for your
talking
time.
here to make the GM keep talking in that voice.
If no one's anything else, I am, done talking to this person. Well, thank you for your time, Miss. Name I didn't remember.
It's Mission.
Sure, it is.
Remember,
Let's
spread
go.
the word of revolution.
Let's go. Let's go
right.
talk to the sheriff, Mr. Revolutionary.
Copper, tell them goodbye. Be polite, please. Oh yeah. See you later.
Yep. See you later, dude.
As you guys leave, you get this weird sight of almost like a teddy bear just kind of waving at you as you leave.
So before I leave, I am gonna turn around and give Mission 10 gold.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything you need?
Well, there's plenty I need,
confess
but I'm
don't
not.
have much.
There's plenty I need, but I'm not asking for anything.
She gives a very, very low bow. One that looks like she might not actually come up from because her bones are creaking. But she does come back up and thanks you.
So, what's our business with the sheriff?
Maybe he's got work.
Why are we looking for work? We already have work.
Maybe he has paying work.
Ah.
Or work that's in the same direction.
Speaking of work, about time I lit a lantern just for a little while, see how anything around. Gonna flip it on.
Right now it's just a normal red lantern flame.
I'll keep it on for like an hour and then stop.
Should probably turn it on when we're traveling to new places since the range is quite small.
It's 300 feet. We've never been in this section of town before. Give it a shot.
All right. Anyway, so I go to the entrance to the sheriff's mansion here. It looks like.
So you go up to the mansion. Well, not really a mansion, but a house with at least a decent sized yard. And you knock on the door. There's no answer.
Why is the text so big on that one? Whatever.
Are we knocking on the door to the gate or the door to the house?
The gate's open, so I assumed you just walked up to the house.
What's his yard look like?
It's your pretty typical bigger yard. I mean, there's basically it's just like you've got his house here. You've got like a sort of like a stables kennel here that is empty. And then just like some barrels and a workbench and like a shed and things like that.
It occurs to me he's probably at work.
Want to break into the sheriff's house?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn around, and if you do it, I won't know. I turn around and I wait like 10 seconds.
Don't go breaking into the sheriff's
I
house.
look over. No? Okay. I knock again and say, anybody home? Anybody dead inside?
There's no response.
Is there a window?
Yes.
Is it even slightly open?
No.
So we can't see through it at all.
I mean, you can see through it. The window's just not open.
Oh, so it's like a glass window. I suppose that's windows are, huh?
Yes.
Windows are.
Look, when I think of windows in medieval settings, I think of them as like planks over holes, all right?
Yeah, but it's cold here. You can't get away with that.
I look inside.
The place is poor enough not to have glass. Well, they'd just not have windows.
Is there anything interesting inside?
It looks like your typical home. It actually doesn't even look like it's like he's super rich or anything like that. But he definitely gets by. He's probably rich in the standard of Brinshadar, but not rich in the standard of some of the towns and stuff that you visited in your travels. But I mean, it's your typical house.
Yeah, it looks like a house, not an office. That wouldn't expect him to be home at this hour unless he was a lazy bum who plays Warhammer 2 all day.
Where do I know where like the sheriff's office would be? Like where or whatever the constable's office would be? The guardhouse?
Probably not. There you haven't really like asked around for anything like that. I mean, you know that each of the gates have huts where the guards are.
But like no idea where like there's like a central barracks or anything like that.
No.
I look at the map to see if I can find a big building. So this one looks interesting.
I mean, why
This
don't
one
we just,
down here.
Why don't we just? I don't know. I don't want to cause no more trouble than we've already done today.
All right, well, why don't we go get lunch and we can discuss if we want to take on the speaker's mission to go to Care Dinwall or whatever for no pay. In which case, maybe we'll hire some dogs and Drock will finish up the sled and we can hike over there. We can also look at the map and see how far away it is.
Because I'm getting the feeling that they're going to do the lottery thing soon. I don't really want to get picked to get sent out the door, you know? I mean, sure, there's like 10,000 people. How many people are in here? I don't know. It's like 10,000 people in here, but...
Wait, did we ever find out when the last lottery was?
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Anyway, is there any place to eat other than the inn? Like, is there like a market place to eat or a restaurant? Did we pass anything on the way?
There isn't really any restaurants or anything. I mean, there is the market, which would still be going on. But it looks like they probably just had like baked goods and fresh fish that you could buy.
More than we get at the inn, so I guess we'll head back to the market to have lunch. We can compare notes or whatever. Is everyone on board with that?
We're doing what? We're getting lunch. Going where?
Yeah, we're gonna eat lunch at the market.
And then going where?
We're gonna discuss that.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, for those who walked out early, the speaker is incompetent, but they gave us a mission to find Cranak Sivar, the speaker of Care Dinval, who has been incommunicado for the last couple of speaker meetings. No pay has been offered, but we do get the goodwill of the speaker and possibly other speakers. In an
No,
official
hold
capacity.
on. I wouldn't say she's incompetent. I think she's trying to make the best of a really shit situation.
Competently.
I mean, maybe she's not doing like the best job, but you know, most of the town's still alive.
Well, her competence really isn't the point here. The point is, do we want to? Is this something we're interested in doing to make, since no one else seems to have any work for us anyway, and we have a sled. We can get some sled dogs, maybe load it up with supplies and head over there. How far away is Kirdinival on the map that we have?
Give me 1 second. Judging by how far it took you guys to get, or how long it took you guys to get to the iron, travel time, assuming you don't get hit by a blizzard, would be about 10.5 hours.
So we can get there in basically a single day's long travel, which means we probably can't get there today unless we leave like immediately and camp out, which probably is ill-advised. But we can leave today if we're in a hurry. But
I
so
don't think we're in that much of a hurry. I mean, we should probably tell the boss if we're gonna head out for more than a day too. I not like it if we don't show up. You're technically an employee now too,
he's never asked me to do anything. But anyway, so unless you want to do something else, want to keep looking for work, this is what we got on the table.
Sounds like a proper adventure to me. Let's go find him.
Tarek, how do you feel about the matter?
It's probably our best bet to, I'd say, head out in the morning just so we don't have to camp outside and head to Caer Dineval. Even if we at least find him, he might be more useful in providing some insight as to what's going on. There might be some good reason for him not being in communication.
So just because I don't have the map ready for you guys, which if we take a break here, I probably will. Basically, your guys' choices would be to either go to Caer Dineval. You could also journey to any of the other local towns. Things that are close to Brinshadar. Targos is about 2 hours away. Goodmead and Tourmaline are about 6 hours away, and East Haven is about 7.5 hours away.
Caer Dineval is one of the furthest towns.
Caer Dineval is the fifth furthest. The other ones would take you days to reach, so you're better off going to one of those 5 towns before going to the next one.
Are any of the towns on the way to Caer Dineval?
No. So those are like, if you leave Brinshadar, you can hit Targos, Tourmaline, Goodmead, East Haven, or Caer Dineval. And then once you reach some of those towns, you could go further on. Like if you go to Tourmaline, you could make it to Lonelywood. If you go to Targos, you could make it to Bremen.
So I mean, I'm fine leaving tomorrow since it's a long day's journey, and
we have
we don't have any other.
We
can also talk to the
sleds
sheriff.
too.
Well, that's to say we can also get some sled dogs and talk to the sheriff to see if he's got any work as well. Or, as the GM is hinting, we can go to one of the other towns. Elena, do you have an opinion?
I do not. I am not familiar with this area.
The map didn't help you in any way because you haven't seen it yet.
Pretty much.
You don't know where your magical stones are in relation to Brinshadar?
I'm gonna assume that they're not on the map.
Reasonable.
Well, there's not a big red X on the map for you?
All right. Then my plan as oblitus is to try and find the sheriff. I'm going to ask around, see if I can find the sheriff. And then tomorrow morning, head out to Caer Dineval, since no one is opposed. I guess, Drak, you can be in charge of the sled. Tarek, you can be in charge of buying supplies to put on that sled. And break.
All right, I'm gonna go work on a sled.
Let us know if you need money, like to repair it or something. I don't know. Wax.
Well, I've
or
got
something.
the money if I need it.
Fair enough. You are currently holding our excess party fund.
What kind of supplies do you want on the sled?
Food, shelter, water.
Someone getting the dogs.
Tarek.
Okay.
I'll count that as supplies. How many dogs do we need?
It'll probably
5.
end up being 5.
Will do. I shall head off to go get said supplies.
How much does a dog
I'm not
cost?
sure how I can help, but just let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
When we get back to the inn, I'd like to have a conversation with old Bitey. The fish. How intelligent is said fish?
Pretty stupid.
Maybe this won't be much of a conversation. Hey, how'd you end up this way anyways? I mean, a fish on a wall talking to people.
Well, I don't know. I woke up one day and here I am.
So like you don't know who made you.
Nope. Been here all my life.
Huh. Alright, well, you've been here, how long has that been? I mean, you've seen a lot of people come and go, I'm sure.
Well, time is something.
It sure is.
I don't know. It's been like one winter.
You're real funny, you know?
Well, that's what they pay me for. They don't
Alright.
really pay me, but here I am.
You've never had a werebear come by, right? I guess you wouldn't even know.
A werebear? Werebear?
Yeah, you know what? You keep being you.
And you do the same.
You're the best fish I've ever had the pleasure of performing with.
And you're the best dwarf I've ever had the pleasure of performing with.
Oh, I've told you I'm not a dwarf.
I know.
Alright, well, don't go swimming away on me someday.
Who's got the jokes now?
Stupid fish, I say under my breath as I leave.
So you guys should be on the map of Icewind Dale now. I have revealed the lakes, the rivers, the towns, and then a couple of other things like one of the mountains, the glacier all the way to the east, the Dwarven Valley.
Dwarven Valley.
The Dwarven Valley.
Oh my god.
The map doesn't show it very well, but there is the East Way, which is in between Brinshadar and East Haven. That is a road, that crossroads right about here, that takes you to Goodmead, East Haven, and Caer Dineval. So you could, sorry, right there. You probably didn't see that. There we go.
I did that.
It's right there.
There you go.
All right. So basically what's happening is when you go from Brinshadar, you can go from Brinshadar to Caer Dineval, and you could do just a straight shot, but that would probably actually take you longer than taking the East Way, basically like down to here, and then taking the road up to Caer Dineval.
Like that?
Can you use a different color?
I can use any color, but
So listen, I'm not colorblind, but I am color deficient, and I don't see shades very well. So I could kind of see that like blue, but it blends in with the white. Yep, just like that.
Is there a road that goes from East Haven to Caer Dineval without going back to that crossroad? Like, is it better to go like from Brinshadar to East Haven, stop for a night, and then go to Caer Dineval, or
That is an option. It would add a couple of hours to your trip, but it is, you could definitely, like, if you leave Brinshadar now and it's too late to make it all the way to Caer Dineval, you could spend the extra 30 minutes to get to East Haven and then take the 3 hours it would take to get from East Haven to Caer Dineval.
so if we made like a blizzard along the way, we could sort of, our bail off point would be to East Haven. All right, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So am I able to find the sheriff?
Make an investigation check, I guess.
I mean, I'm willing to ask people where the office is. Anyway, investigation check. I hitting my strong stats here. We'll assume Shard will guide me.
So asking around it sounds like the sheriff doesn't actually have like a home office. There isn't actually like a prison or anything in Brinshadar. It's either you pay a fine or you just get isolated from Brinshadar. He could be at any of the guards posts. He could be at the House of the Speakers, or he could be at the town hall.
How does the town hall differ from the House of the Speakers?
So it's right
Bearing in mind that we're
here
not on the
is.
town map.
Oh shit. Right there is the what the fuck just happened there? Right there. Stop that. Okay. That is the House of the Speakers. The only difference is the House of the Speakers is where everybody meets when they have the speaker meetings.
They'll use it like once a year.
Yeah.
Which thing was this place? I've been the one that has been outlining places that matter.
It's wasteful to have a building to use once a year.
Because I thought we called this place the Speaker's house.
No, that's where the speaker was, but it's not the speaker's house.
So that's where the speaker lives. It's called the town hall, but that is where the speaker lives. The House of the Speakers is this one.
It's the speaker's house as opposed to the House of the Speakers.
Yes.
Very different.
All right. Anyway, sounds like the sheriff just wanders around randomly. It seems like that's terrible for actually enforcing the laws. And thus, I determine that he's also incompetent and useless, and I give up.
Oblitus is quite the character.
Hey, you know how to get the sheriff's attention? All we have to do is commit a crime.
Judging by the efficiency I've seen so far, I bet that doesn't even work.
You know, we should have just broken into his house. That would have gotten his attention.
Probably.
Not too late to change our mind. I mean, we're about to hop town anyways, you know?
Yeah, but we're planning on coming back.
Ah, shit.
I guess on the way back, I want to stop by this building here just to see what the fuck it is. Any building with walls and that is large clearly is important.
Which building? I didn't see your pane.
This walled one in the middle of town.
That is just a house. You are more than welcome to knock on the door.
I knock on the door.
You wait a couple of minutes. You knock and no answer.
There's no like door plate or anything like that saying like, Chateau de la Agua or something.
There is not.
Chateau de Agua.
I sigh and I meander back to the inn at some point.
Was anybody else looking to do anything?
Well, I'll be working on the cart, but
I got some sled dogs and some food to buy.
So to get sled dogs, you ask around in the market. Your best bet is to check the stables, which would be this place right here. And what else were you looking to buy?
Just some extra rations, and then maybe like how many we have? We're doing one big sled, right? Out of, I assume I would know this for Jordan.
What was the question?
We're doing one big sled or 3 small ones?
One big one.
Uh,
Well, medium one. You know, the big one is the one that was the problem. Medium one, that's what we're going for.
then maybe some like I don't necessarily, let's say like a tent, but some like winter tarp to like cover and provide some level of shelter, like in conjunction with the sled, or just the sled in general.
Okay. So are you looking like for something to like cover the materials that you're carrying, or are you looking for something like to cover?
Something we could use, like if we had to stop in the middle of a blizzard and like essentially could set up a quick like makeshift tent-ish area,
Okay.
a slightly bigger one than just like a 2-person one.
So all of those you'd be able to find in the market with the survival gear person. How big of a tent are you looking for? You said bigger than one that fits 2 people. Are you looking for like the biggest they have?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Unless they have one that would need like a 4 to 5.
Don't buy a circus tent.
That seems excessive.
So you get to the market and you find the survival gear person, and you kind of describe to him how you're looking for like a big tent, and he kind of looks at you and he's like, so you want a big tent that's like fits a bunch of people? You know, like for these big ones, you're gonna have to set it up like before danger, right?
How many? What is a bunch of people to you?
I mean, I got a tent that can fit like 6 people, but you're gonna have to really secure that sucker down before the blizzard comes in. If you're looking for survival, you probably want more of these 2-person tents. You can kind of put them up nice and quick, like.
Based on what he's saying, like, does it sound like he knows what he's talking about? Like, if a blizzard was coming, would we have time to set up a 6-person tent or not?
So make a perception check for me. So while you're talking to him, you look down at his left hand, and 3 of his fingers are actually completely black with frostbite. You're not sure if this is because he was stupid or if because he's seen a thing or two in the winter. But it sounds like you might want to take his advice to not end up like him. Now, you see these 2-person tents. You can put these up in a jiffy. I mean, if you're fast, you could probably get it done in like 30 seconds. But now these big suckers, I mean, you could probably get it up in good conditions in like 10 minutes. But I mean, if the winds are blowing, good luck, my friend.
And how much would these smaller tents run me?
I could probably do like 3 gold a pop.
Well, I shall take your advice then, and I shall take 3 of them.
3 of them. You got.
Don't we already have a tent like that?
That'll be 9 gold.
We do, but that only fits 2 people.
There's only 5 of us.
The dog's got to go somewhere.
Fair. I didn't think of the bubbers. That was my bad.
Damn it! I give
Sorry.
him the 9 gold.
Perfect. And you have yourself a good day.
Thank you very much for the advice.
Yeah. Don't die out there, Frostbite's a bitch. He says as he kind of like shows you his 3 fingers.
I had a feeling your words was based on experience. I guess you've been out there a lot.
Used to. Don't do it so much anymore, but that's because, don't want to die.
That's fair. Have you have you head out there recently, or has it been a while?
Guess that depends on your idea of recently.
Well, I was just curious if you've been in the direction of Care Dinaval recently. Anything, if you had, that may be worth me knowing? I'm planning on heading in that direction with a.
Oh, it's
couple
real
of
easy to get to
fellas.
Caradinaval from here. Just head out the east gate, follow the east way. When you get to the crossroads, take the left, and it'll take you right there. On foot, it'll take you, about 11 hours.
I see. I appreciate the directions, and
Yeah.
I'll fish out 2 more gold pieces and give it to him.
Appreciate you.
No problem. I'm glad I can help out in any way, even if it's just this. And I'll go to buy some food. This is my next stop for the dogs.
You're looking for dog food?
That and people food. But
That and people food.
I
So
assume the stable would have the dog food as well, though.
it would, yeah. If you're looking just for like regular like dog food, you can get that at the stables. If you want to feed your dogs something a little bit more nutritious, then you'd be able to feed them people food too, I suppose. Are you looking more like rations that are going to last you a while, or are you looking more for the bakery like what Drock did?
Rations that are going to last a while and in the travel, in the weather.
Okay, that's pretty easy to find in the market as well. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you could get a day's rations for 5 silver.
And would this double over? Like, if would this like these same rations would be the like more nutritious version for the dogs as well?
Yeah, you would assume so.
Then I shall get 20 rations.
Okay.
So what is that, like
10 gold.
10 gold?
Yeah.
Now off to the dogs to find out I don't have enough gold at this point.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
After getting the food, I'll head to the stables and see if they have enough dogs.
So this building right here is the stables. And you walk in, and there's quite a lot of dogs barking, and a disheveled half-elf woman comes out and, yes, can I help you?
Hello, I've got a large sled that I need pulled. I was coming here looking for some of your finer sled pulling dogs.
Okay. How many do you need?
I need about 6 of them.
About 6, that runs you about 300 gold.
$300 gold. That seems quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, these are good sled pulling dogs. They're 50 gold apiece. Buying 6 of them, 300 gold.
She seemed like she's trying to give me a hard time.
You can make an insight check. If you had to guess, she's probably being pretty truthful. I mean, her gaze is constantly like all around, like looking at all the dogs, and like it looks like she's in the middle of feeding all of them. So her mind is elsewhere. So she's probably not trying to like get one over you or anything like that. She's just like, these are the prices. I'm going back to feeding the dogs.
And the dogs, do they look like they're all generally like relatively healthy, or like they're all skinny or skin and bones?
They're all pretty healthy. I mean, these are some good dogs. The sled pulling dogs are more the size of wolves than they are actual dogs. These are some big dogs they will pull a sled.
Could a halfling ride them as a mount?
Probably. Can halflings ride medium beasts? I believe.
Yeah,
they
that's
can.
the point.
Yeah, small can generally ride medium.
It's
That's what I thought.
probably not trained for it, but it could.
I'm presuming there's a fair number of dogs in here. Like, she's not low on them. Like, if I leave and come back later, there's still going to be.
Just at a quick glance, you can see 12 of them in different kennels. But it looks like there's probably more elsewhere as well.
All right. And she already walked off away from me, or is she still?
I mean, she's feeding the dogs that are like in your general vicinity.
I'll let her know. While I'm interested, I will have to go see about collecting the funds. I didn't realize that would be such a steep cost. So,
yeah. Are you looking to pull a sled?
yes.
I just keep in mind. Do you know much about sled dogs?
They're dogs, and they pull sleds, and I feed them.
Depending on the size of your sled, you're always going to need an odd number. You're going to need regular dogs, and then you're going to need the lead. Leads are 75 gold. They're more trained. So depending on the size of your sled, you could need 5, you could need 7. But 6 is an odd request. You already have a lead.
No, actually, the reason I named 6 was just thinking it would be better to have an extra dog in case something happened to one of them, but we only really need 5.
Probably piss off the dog you're not using.
Who says I can't use it?
But you whatever you would like to do.
Regardless, though, I'll have to go see about collecting the funds for them. Why do you have to have a lead dog and not just all normal ones? Surely there shouldn't be that much of a difference.
Well, if you don't have a lead dog, then you don't have a dog that's going to lead. How do you expect 2 minds to work as one?
Well, there's going to be 5 dogs, so there's a lot more than 2 minds.
You have. So you set them up, right? There's 2, and then there's 2, and then there's one in the middle. He leads the others. He doesn't do much of the pulling. That's what the regular dogs are for.
And why couldn't that just be another regular dog? If he's not pulling anything, it could just be another dog.
If you would like. I guess if you want the brawn instead of the brains, I suppose you could do that.
I'm more or less just trying to understand. You've said one of them has to lead, but you've not told me
So the
what
lead
makes
dogs
them
are
different than the other, besides they don't
the
pull.
lead dogs are smarter. They're trained more. They're designed to lead, to not bring the sled over bumps and hills and bad things in general, and also simply not to get lost and to understand the tugging and the pulling of the reins. The other dogs, they don't get the tugging and the pulling. They follow the lead.
Very well. Well,
But like I said, it's not my sled.
regardless, I will come back later.
Very well.
I shall head back to the market and see if anyone's there. If not, then head to the inn.
It's not late enough yet that there's still people at the market. I mean, it's still the
Well,
same.
mainly to hopefully run into Oblitus. I know Drock is at the inn, but
I was
Would
wandering
Oblitus
around the
be at the
city.
market?
I mean, I was kind of wandering around pointlessly, but I have to go back to the market at some point, and I was at the southern part of town, probably trying to find the sheriff. So it's reasonable he might hit me on the main thoroughfare to the market or something. What's up?
so about those dogs.
Too expensive?
A little bit.
You should have kept the
Apparently-
polar bear.
Not a bad idea. It's
Till they
50,
eat you.
50 gold per dog, and apparently there you have to have a lead dog, and he's 75.
Well, to
So
be
we need
honest,
275 gold to get the 5 dogs we need.
we don't have so much cargo that we need a sled dog right this moment. It could be it only comes up when we have so much loot that it is burdensome. And since we're not making any money right now, and this mission's not going to make any money, and we're not being charged to store the sleds, I just sort of shrug. I'm content to leave it behind.
Well, doesn't matter to me, though. Drock might get a little bit sad about all the work he's putting into it, but I got us some extra rations for the road. More than I intended now that I realized I wasn't going to be able to buy the dogs, but that and some extra tents so that in case a blizzard happens, we don't all have to freeze to death.
A good precaution. I see the lessons we learned in the blizzard are already paying off. Unfortunately, I can't find the sheriff. He's an elusive man who apparently doesn't like to be found.
I wonder if this is going to become a running theme in these towns. They've got a speaker missing and a sheriff who apparently hides instead of.
He's like, I could be a centralized location so I can exercise command and control over the troops, but instead, I'm going to be at one of 6 random locations. I throw my hands up in the air and say, I guess.
That, and you think he's important enough that someone in the town would know where he is.
Oh well, it's not my job to fix this shithole. And just think, this is the shining shithole of the entire region.
I thought it was just the biggest. Surely some of the smaller ones might be at least a little bit more stable. I hope. The ones that aren't killing people for no reason.
You have a fair point, and I guess time will show whether my statement was accurate or not. I give a sigh. This place is exhausting.
Yeah. For all the doom and gloom, it doesn't seem like anyone here wants to do anything for themselves to try and fix it. No, I understand how daunting it is. Every single person we've gone to is just throwing
Yep.
their hands up.
Yeah, I understand that they don't have a lot of tools at their disposal, but when someone comes offering to help and you say, "No thanks, things are too hopeless to accept your help," you kind of like, what can you do for people like that? And why should you do anything if they're going to be like that?
Well, there's always a reason to try and help them, even if they make it a little bit more difficult. And they surely have done that, but hopefully this business in Caird Dinaval, we might be able to get something out of that speaker that's at least remotely useful. Might even be able to use them to convince the other speakers that killing people isn't helping at all.
We shall see. I'm sure there are reasons why the other towns aren't killing people, and the speaker makes it sound like the people giving up food are giving up so much food that they're now starving to death. So I don't expect it to be much better anywhere else. But that's enough doom and gloom for me. Let's worry about ourselves, keeping ourselves safe on our next journey.
Yep. Well, I suppose I'm going to try and find the others and spread out these tents. I presume that you would like one of them.
Sure, I'll take a tent.
I give them a tent.
So as you guys are heading back to the inn, Alina, what are you doing?
Well, I offered to help, but nobody really, I guess, had any tasks for me. So I've just been probably sitting in the inn studying the map.
Day drinking?
Oh,
And Drock, you're working on the sled?
Indeed.
Go ahead and make another Tinker's Tools check.
Can I use my inspiration on not getting a 9?
Yeah.
Come on. Need something higher than a 4.
I mean, it's higher than a 4.
No, that's a 2.
Oh, I thought you used inspiration so you had advantage. I thought that's what inspiration was.
Yeah, that's how we're supposed to do it, but nobody else is using it, so
So it's become a reroll now?
basically.
Well, except that since the first roll shows you what the advantage would have been.
No, I'm just saying. I thought it was previously.
Oh,
it
you
was
have
that
to
you
do
had
it-
to use it
Yeah.
before.
You have to say
Oh.
it beforehand. But
Well, I would have
I
done
let it
that had I
happen.
known, but sorry. I will try to remember that.
nah, it's okay.
I won't remember that though.
I don't think anyone remembers about inspiration until they see that they failed a roll.
I know.
It's like, oh yeah, I would like to have not failed that.
and we'll talk about that later. You're making progress.
It's the damn goblins. They can't put a damn thing together.
And Pebble, what are you doing?
I'll probably just be getting ready for the, preparing songs for the evening. Nothing extravagant. Making sure the bar is well stocked.
Perfect. So Oblitus and Tarek, you guys find yourselves in the inn. Alina and Pebble are also there. Drock is still in the back working on the sled.
So with Alina having her map out, I'm going to take out my presumably poorly maintained map and obliquely compare the two. How inaccurate is my map compared to the one she has, which is presumed accurate?
Did I give you a map?
I do have a map, but like I said, I literally described the map as a poor map, and the main thing it contains is I guess I don't want to say it aloud.
Yeah, just DM me.
Oh. Suspicious.
Yeah, so your map pretty closely lines up. Yours is more from experience as far as where you guys have traveled across 10 towns. This is much more of a factual location of the towns and the lakes and things like that.
All right. After comparing it for a little while, I will put it away. I have no plans for the evening unless something happens. I will people watch for a little while and then go to sleep.
Did anybody else have any like plans for the evening or anything, or is it more of just like shoot the shit, grab some drinks, grab some food, get some early rest, and head out in the morning?
I shall see if Pebble wants the last remaining tent that I have.
I suppose I will take a tent. Yeah, just put it on the ground, right? If it snows, and then you climb inside or something. I haven't figured this out.
I was told you can do it in 10 seconds.
10 seconds. All right, here we go. 10 seconds later, there's a mess of tarp on the floor. Yep, it's done.
Hopefully you do better when the blizzard comes.
I work better under pressure anyways. Anyways, I think I'm gonna tell Scrabsax that we'll be out for a couple. Well, I'll be out for a couple days, probably. Now, gotta make sure he doesn't freak out.
Sure, it'll be fine. He has the talking fish.
Exactly.
It's pretty easy to find Scram Sacks. He's just kind of like running around. It's not too late in the night where it's like crazy busy right now, so he's got some time. Yeah, what can I do?
Yeah. Gonna be running away from home for a few days. You know, rebellious phase.
Okay, where are you going?
We're just checking out the other towns, see if we can, I don't know, keep this whole like winter thing from getting worse. You know, no big.
Okay, well, be careful. Come back whenever. I mean, you don't really do much. The fish handles it, so.
Hey, excuse me.
Your excuse? That's what I said.
Ah,
Go.
all right, thanks. Anyway, well, I mean, I'll be here tonight still.
All right, well, whatever.
Probably not start a bar fight. I mean, unless you want me to start a bar fight. Just let me know if you want a fight. All right, any day. You're the best boss I've ever had.
Did anybody else have any plans tonight? Cool. So the rest of the night goes by pretty easily. And you guys wake up in the morning. We've been going on for 3 hours now. Probably a good time to stop before we make the trek to Caer Dineval / East Haven, wherever the blizzards take you. Unless people want to keep going, but it could. Once we get to one of the towns, it'd probably take a little bit. So it's probably best to stop now.
I leave it in your capable hands, Dio. You're the one suffering the most, anyways.
Exactly. You have COVID. If your voice hurts, man, we stop.
Yeah, we'll call it for now. But you guys can all level up to level 2. Now you guys
Level 2.
The trick was to
Level
leave
2.
the town.
Yeah.
All we had to do was get out of here.
So we farm the levels. We just keep leaving and going back in.
Ooh. Now you're thinking with
Portals?
question mark?
Portals.
Yes, level 2.
I was gonna say milestones, but
I was thinking about taking Animal Friendship as a level 2 spell, but we got rid of our animals. And we didn't
We
get
go
new
find them again.
animals. We're animals.
Just hope they don't find us.
We don't have any more goblin arms to entice them.
Cool. Now we are much less likely to just randomly get one shot.
Now, should we choose to roll for EXP? What are our roll for HP? What are our roll for HP rolls? Is it just reroll ones, or
Yep.
are we?
You can roll your hit dice. You re-roll ones, but otherwise you take the number.
I'm gonna take the average. I'm a
Yeah.
pansy.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll and see what happens. You're taking the average no matter what, but I'm curious.
I'm taking the average.
Is it-
What would I have rolled?
Would have been good.
Better than average.
This is why I took the average.
Well, no, that would be a reroll.
You
so
would re-roll that one.
Well, I'm taking the average.
Hey, you would have hit the average. Oh no, that is the average.
That is average. So,
You
see,
would've- you would've
I
gotten
still
dicked.
take that. So I'm in the character master for leveling up, so it rolls automatically.
Oh, I just rolled a hit dice because that's how much HP you gain when you level up. 17 whole hit points.
But yeah, good session. Sorry there wasn't any like combat or anything, but you guys spent a lot of time delving about Brinshadar, which is fine.
Yep, we know some stuff about places and people.
I now get Jack of all trades.
Ooh.
What is the average for getting HP?
It should tell you.
It's half the dice plus half. Or like dice average plus half.
So you're a monk, right? I believe your hit die is a D8. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
So then the average of that when rolled is 4.5, but they give you an extra half if you take average. So you would get 5 if you choose not to roll. Otherwise, you roll a D8 and you get whatever that is.
And you get 2 HP. Yeah.
But if you roll if you choose to roll and re-roll ones, the average is technically still a 5.
Yeah, it's very close to just taking the average. But the average has the benefit of being
Of not getting a
average.
Well, the
But as a
real
melee
burden
character-
is if you rolled a 1, you re-roll it. But if you rolled a 2, you're
1. Exactly. Then you still got a
but
2.
imagine if you get 8 extra hit points at level 2.
Yeah, that's huge. Damn. Huge
But it's
damn.
only
mean,
3 more
it's
hit points
spicy.
than you would have had if you
I mean, a level 2, 3 hit points makes a big deal.
Sure, but you could have 4 less hit points. You could have 3 less hit points. 3 less hit points is also a big deal.
Also, is there like an automatic level up thing in the character sheet, or do I just have to like input?
Yes,
everything?
there is. If you click on the gear icon in the upper right hand corner, and then you go to the bottom right corner, it says like Character Master plus level up, and above it says Character Master from level 1. You want the one that says Character plus level up, and it'll open up the Character Master and guide you through your options.
Really?
It
I've just always done it manually.
Well, to be fair, if you don't have all the source books for what you're using, then you have to add that shit in manually. But if you're using something that's just in the Roll20 automatically, it just fucking works. And the upside to that is like it'll like so like I'm a Twilight clerk, so I got like my channel divinity, but since I use the thing, it just puts. So now I can just link my channel divinity because it put it in there for me without me having to like copy and paste it. And whatever
Oh, I
harness
see.
divine power is, apparently I have that too.
I've
Which I think
already
is just-
added my features and stuff, so I assume if I do this, it double dips it.
It'll probably fuck it up, yes.
Yeah,
You
I'm just
said,
gonna level up manually.
Cogwheel, then click what?
So cogwheel.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of settings here, like a whole sheet of information that you have no fucking clue.
A lot of bullshit. Yeah.
So in the lower right hand corner, there's like a forge icon. It says launch level plus character mancer.
I see it.
And above it, it says launch level 1 character mancer cannot be undone. You don't want that button.
That seems bad.
So you want the launch level plus character mancer button, and you just click it.
That harness divine power is pretty good.
Yeah, basically it just lets you. I mean, it's one of the optional class features in Tasha's, and basically you can sacrifice your Channel Divinity for a level 1 spell slot.
Yeah.
Nope. I didn't mean to click that.
I need a level 1 spell to learn.
But especially as that's a bonus action, so you can bonus action regain your spell slot and then use your spell.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Unfortunately, my Channel Divinity is really strong, so I won't.
That's true. That's true.
I don't plan on using it very much, but it is nice to have the option.
Yeah, your Channel Divinity is much better than some of the other clerics.
Well, the other thing is it's not very situational. It just always fucking works. Whereas, like, if you have like the Conquest one and no one's casting fear spells, or you're using like one of the, some of them are quite situational. Like if I was relying on to turn on dead, like turn on dead is very good, worth doing, worth a Channel Divinity slot, but you're not always fighting on dead. I thought there was a way to like mark a spell that it came from like your domains or whatever, so it didn't count towards your spell slots, but apparently not. Apparently I just have to manually add it afterward.
Yeah, I just always add it to the title of the spell.
Whatever, I'll decide on spells later. I assume you're not going to require us to pick our level up spell right now.
Even that we're done for the day.
Okay.
Just make sure it's done by like Saturday, so that I can go through and like add templates and stuff.
Yeah, I only get one more spell, so I'll let you know if I need a new spell template.
Yeah, and I mean those don't take very long, especially once like everybody gets them in, and then I just like sit down for 5 minutes and just crank them out.
How many prepared spells should I have? I should have. Was it 4? I'm not sure I even get a new prepared spell for Cleric. I'll have to look at the rules. I'm too lazy. Jimmy, you want to play some more Total War in like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes?
Sure, let's hit some more Total War in whenever you're ready. I'm gonna wrap up stream real quick and then.
Yeah, I got some shit to take care of and then we'll play.
Sounds good. All right, see you soon.
Have a good night, everybody.
Otherwise, I'm AFK.
Night, folks. All right, and for those of you who are still here in the stream, thanks for dropping by, guys. Sorry today was a little bit of it was an expose kind of day. We were going around seeing the world and not getting ourselves killed, so that's good. But next stream will be Monday. So tomorrow will be Omnifactory stream, woohoo! And next D&D will be next week, next Sunday. So hope to see you there. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for dropping by, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.